What's up, everyone? It's Josh here from No Buts About It, and this is our first ever live stream. I've never done this before, and I was trying to keep up with all of the NFL free agency stuff, but I just wasn't able to do it. I'm working on a few videos, but every time I started working on one video, something else happened that was big, and so I started making on that video, and my ADHD was just going crazy. So we're still going to do a full show at some point. We're still going to get something going. But I just wanted to hop on here and talk about some of these huge signings that we have going on. And I've got my phone right here. I've got Twitter pulled up. So we're still going to be keeping you up to date on all of that other stuff that's going on. But first of all, let's just go back to that Russell Wilson signing. I know I made a video about it, but what a huge signing. And Lawan, that's right. Let's go. Free agency is insane. What's your favorite free agency signing? I want to have this conversation with you as well. But Russell Wilson to the Steelers, that was expected, but $1.2 million, that is absolutely insane that he's going there for that cheap. Denver Broncos, man, they're paying that away. I'm a Jets fan, so nothing yet. Hey, I'm a Bengals fan, so I'm kind of in the same boat as you. We did extend Drew Sample, but of course we got that T. Higgins news that he is requesting a trade. And actually, I'm probably going to put out a separate video separate from this. But T. Higgins' agent, he's a hard guy to deal with for the Cincinnati Bengals. They haven't gotten a lot done with him, and he likes big guaranteed money. I heard he wants to reset the market with T. Higgins as well, which is wild. I heard a number, and I don't want to say the number yet because I don't know if that's public info yet. But the number would be more than some guys' entire contracts who are probably the same level as T in guarantees. So I don't think the Bengals are going to re-sign T. Higgins for the number that he was given. But we got Kirk Cousins also going to the Atlanta Falcons as well. So I don't know what you guys thought about that. I knew it was kind of up in the air, but I really expected Minnesota to re-sign Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins is one of my favorite players who has never been a Bengal or a Colt, and those are my two teams. I think he's a great locker room guy, great guy to have around. The Atlanta Falcons were able to get him for 4 years, which is going to be great. $180 million, including a $50 million signing bonus per Tom Pelissero. That is huge for the Cincinnati or the Atlanta Falcons. I think that's kind of an underpay, in my opinion, for where the quarterback market is at. That's about $45 million per year, if my quick math is correct. Kirk Cousins throwing to Drake London, throwing to Kyle Pitts, got Bijan Robinson in that backfield. That is going to be a dangerous offense. So their defense was already pretty good in a wide open NFC South. I would not be shocked to see the Atlanta Falcons go and win that division with Kirk Cousins at the helm. I don't know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you guys think about that signing in the comments here. I'm going to be responding to comments here the whole time that I'm live as well. Chuss is going to be joining us later tonight, I believe, and I don't know if we'll be live again or not, but we have quite a few signings to talk about. Right now, I'm just going through. Did I see Saquon? Yes, I did see Saquon. That deal is interesting. I knew that he was in talks with the Philadelphia Eagles. I didn't expect him to get paid as much as he did, though, just the way the running back market is. I know that Saquon is one of those guys who is top tier running back material, but he does have that injury history as well. He's getting a 3-year, $37.75 million deal. I mean, what do you think about that, Lawan? You're here right now with me, and we got 3 other people here with us as well. So feel free to comment, you guys. I want to talk with you guys. Let's have a free agency conversation because today is absolutely wild. That's what No Buts About It is all about. Let's see here. I'm going to update my Twitter here, make sure we don't miss anything. Rip Giant. Yeah, and you said you're a Jets fan. Who do you want the Jets to sign? Who is your guy for the Jets to sign? I'm big on the Bengals going out and getting a safety like Justin Simmons or Jordan Poyer. I think with the way the safety market is right now, you have to go out and get a safety because you can get them for cheap right now. Sorry, I'm trying to text and talk at the same time. It's not easy. O line all the way. That is true. And I don't know if you subscribed, but you should if you haven't, Lawan, because we have a guy on here, Stan the Jet fan. Obviously, he's a Jet fan. We cover the Jets a lot. And I have been very big on you guys getting O line. I am from the same town as Joe Tippmann, so I really liked that signing. But I I don't, and Stan disagrees with me here. I don't think Aaron Rodgers would have really saved that team behind that O line. Um, that was that was an awful O line. I don't think anyone would have done well behind that O line. I mean, do you disagree with me, man? I know Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, but Zach Wilson had no time. Tim Boyle had no time. Trevor Siemian had no. It seemed like nobody there had any time when they were working with that O line. Still, it's been crazy. Of course, as soon as I go live, nothing happens, right? But I'm sure we've got something brewing. We got Christian Wilkins. That defensive tackle market's huge. He's already getting big money. That's why I was kind of afraid that the Bengals weren't going to be able to get him. I made that video, and some people were like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be easy." No, and then once I saw that Chris Jones contract, no, Christian Christian Wilkins and Chris Jones are making mid-tier quarterback money. They're making about $30 million a year. It's absolutely insane. Cannot believe that is what is happening. Getting some notifications. I like how when there's one signing that happens, the NFL Twitter page just keeps retweeting it over and over again, and it keeps surprising me. And they always like bracket it as like huge signing just happened, and it's like no, that happened an hour ago, and you're still running with it because you have nothing else. So let's go back to that Russell Wilson signing though, real quick, while we're waiting on more NFL news here. Um, so Russell Wilson, $1.2 million for 1 year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We still haven't gotten Trust's reaction. Haven't really talked to him about it because it happened at midnight. That should not be allowed, by the way. Quarterbacks should not be able to make huge announcements while I'm half asleep. I need my beauty rest. Um, but Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin both seemed to say that Kenny Pickett was going to be the starter this season. And now you bring in Russell Wilson, and I think that trumps what they said. I would think maybe they're playing some media gymnastics, but it seems like there might be a small chance that there is some competition there in Pittsburgh. So that'll be interesting to watch as well. I don't know how legitimate that quarterback competition is. Um, Holy cow! Okay, we knew that Josh Jacobs was. Do you think there's any chance Pickett gets traded? There is a possibility, especially with Kirk now going to the Atlanta Falcons. Minnesota is going to be in the market. I've seen JJ McCarthy is kind of the one being mocked there, but I don't know if the Vikings would want to go after him. We do have some Packers news, though. Green Bay Packers have now informed running back Aaron Jones of his release after talks broke down. We know that Josh Jacobs has signed with the Green Bay Packers. We kind of thought that we're going to have that Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones punch that was going to happen, but no. We now have, I guess, AJ Dillon and Josh Jacobs because Aaron Jones has been let go. I've got Packers fans over here commenting on this news group chat that I'm in, and they're all saying to let AJ Dillon go. I don't know about that, but that's going to be exciting. That opens up the running back market a little bit after that. Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley signing. Now that Aaron Jones is out there, he's kind of older. Everyone's saying I really thought for 15 minutes I thought that Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones would be on the same team. But to go back to your question, yeah, Kenny Pickett, he's on that rookie deal, so maybe a team takes a swing on him. But also, Mac Jones just got traded to Jacksonville, so maybe teams weren't calling about wanting that caliber of quarterback to start. I do think there's a possibility, though. I don't think he would garner much, though, and he was a first-round pick, so the Steelers might want a little much for him. But I don't know, maybe like a fifth. I might give a fifth-round pick for him, but we'll see what happens. But we did just have that big news. Aaron Jones has been released by the Green Bay Packers per Ian Rappaport. So Aaron Jones is now out there, and he will look to find a new team. So we have yeah, so that's our big news right now. Mm-hmm. While we have a bit of time here, we can discuss T. Higgins. I mean, that. So the T. Higgins situation is basically David Mulugeta, who is T. Higgins' agent, is also Jesse Bates' agent, is also Christian Wilkins' agent. So you can kind of see this pattern of getting huge guarantees for his clients, which, okay, yeah, sure. That's what you need to do, right? As an agent, that's what you're paid to do. But T has said that he loves being a Bengal. T was a Bengals fan growing up. Joe Burrow seemed to think that T. Higgins would be back this season, and the Bengals franchise tagged him. Now he's requested a trade. This is coming from T's agent, though. This is T's agent talking to Adam Schefter and saying, we're requesting a trade. The Bengals didn't come out and say T. Higgins is requesting a trade. So is this legitimate? Yes. T. Higgins is requesting a trade. But T. Higgins' agent has also been known to use the media as a type of tack method in his negotiations. We saw it with Jesse Bates. We saw it with T. Higgins last season, and we're seeing it again now, I believe. And T. Higgins' camp said that the Bengals have not discussed an extension with T. Higgins since March of 2023. And I don't know that I really believe that. Maybe they haven't sat down and had a discussion since March of 2023. I can see that. But T. Higgins, he's been such a big part of the team. I just can't imagine them saying, like, okay, we're just going to tag you and then not even talk about it. I know he's a huge fan favorite. I think maybe there was a number. And again, there is a number that I know of, but I don't know if it's public info yet, so I don't want to share that. It's a huge, huge number, though, in guarantees. And the agent just kept saying that number, and the Bengals just kept hanging up the phone because this number it's stupid. Like, if the Bengals signed T. Higgins with this number, everyone would look at them like they were complete morons. So I completely understand that. Maybe that they haven't had discussions, but That's the only thing I can see. Also, Michael Pittman Jr. just got signed to an extension of $71.5 million across 3 years, I believe. So that kind of sets the market for where T is going to be. I think Michael Pittman Jr. and T Higgins are around the same level of play. There's an argument that T Higgins is a wide receiver one, and then that Michael Pittman Jr. isn't really a wide receiver one. I think they're both kind of in the same area of high end wide receiver two, low end wide receiver one. And I'm not going to pay T drastically more than Michael Pittman Jr. And I love T Higgins. This is nothing against T Higgins, but I do ultimately think that if your options are tag and trade and then just tag and let him walk next year, you tag and trade because you got to get something for him. We saw that with Jesse Bates. You can't just let them create this vacuum when your player walks. And Ian Rappaport just tweeted that the Colts are bringing back edge rusher Tyquan Lewis. So not a huge name, but definitely something that the Colts needed. They need an edge rush, especially with Grover Stewart being a free agent. That defensive tackle, we haven't seen him go anywhere yet. The only signing for defensive tackles we've seen today, I believe, is Christian Wilkins, who got that big bag from the Las Vegas Raiders. Feel free to comment. Let me know what you think about your team. Are they slacking? We had Lawan in here earlier. He was telling us about the Jets and how they haven't done anything yet. The Bengals haven't done a whole lot. They did bring back Travion Williams on a one-year deal and then Drew Sample on a 3-year, $10.5 million deal. And Drew Sample, he gets a lot of hate. I think he gets more hate than he's warranted. Drew Sample is one of the better run blocking tight ends in the NFL, and we've kind of reached this point where we expect all tight ends to act like Travis Kelce. I want my tight ends to look more like George Kittle personally, because George Kittle is a great blocker and he's a great catcher. And Drew Sample isn't necessarily a great catcher, but he can block, and that's what we needed. I'd still like the Bengals to either go get a tight end in free agency, which there isn't anyone really who I think is going to be a wow bargain. But I would like them to draft one as well. Personally, and I know Brock Bowers is amazing, I would like to see the Bengals take a swing on Ben Sinnott in one of the later rounds. He's a guy I really like that I think you probably get in the 4th or 5th round. And I have so many videos queued up, guys. Like, subscribe because you're gonna get like overloaded with information here once we finally get time to edit all this. I'm doing this along with a full-time job, so can't put everything out at the same time that I want to, but I promise it's on the way. The Vikings are bringing in Blake Cashman from the Houston Texans per Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport. So the Vikings are signing, he's from Minnesota. He's a linebacker, 3-year deal worth up to $25.5 million, his agent says. Big contract for a linebacker. That Minnesota defense has been dangerous in the past with Harrison Smith and Danielle Hunter. I believe Danielle Hunter is now a free agent, though. So they are looking to help stock up that defense, assuming they lose Danielle Hunter, and they're starting at the linebacker position. Do we have any Vikings fans here in the chat by chance? Let us know what you think about this deal, if you like it, if you hate it. 25.5 mil across 3 years isn't too bad. That's about, got to do some quick maths here, about 8-9 million per year. Not too bad, not too shabby. I'm waiting to see this Aaron Jones or Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd is still out there, man. I mean, I'd seen rumors that Tyler Boyd was going to go to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I can't do that, man. Tyler Boyd is such a light to me. He was the first jersey I bought aside from Tyler Eifert's, Tyler Eifert's also from my hometown. He's the reason I'm a Bengals fan. And Tyler Boyd, he was just so fun to watch in 2016, 2017. I loved watching him. And if he goes to the Kansas City Chiefs, that'll be a painful one. At least if he goes to Pittsburgh, I can understand it because he's from Pittsburgh. But yeah, Tyler Boyd is another big name that's still out there on the board. Blake Cashman, or just talked about that. Guard Robert Hunt is being signed by the Carolina Panthers per Adam Schefter and me. That's Jeremy Fowler's Twitter. So got some big signings here. Panthers working on that O-line for Bryce Young. They cut Von Bell earlier this year, or earlier today. Of course, I immediately went to Von Bell and I'm like, hey, come back to Cincinnati, which we don't need a strong safety. We need a free safety because Jordan Battle is a strong safety. But also, can we cut Nick Scott? Nick Scott is not good. Cut Nick Scott, sign Von Bell. That's a depth piece. You could probably move Von around a little bit as well. They love these three safety looks anyway. I don't trust Nick Scott. He can't tackle. It's nothing against him as a person. I'm sure he is a great human being. I have never met him. But I have met Von Bell, and Von Bell is super nice, super great human being. So bring back Von Bell, Cincinnati. If you're not going to make a huge splash by signing Jordan Poyer or Justin Simmons or someone like that, at least bring Von Bell home. He's getting paid like $10 million guaranteed by the Panthers because they signed him to a 3-year deal. So we can get him relatively cheap. I'm at work, so I'll head out in a minute, but is there a place you post? So, Lawan, actually, this live stream is our first ever live stream, so that's why you might be able to tell I'm kind of new to this, kind of trying to follow along. I do have an Instagram, though, where I will try to start posting live streams when we do go live, NoButts_show on Instagram. You can also just subscribe, and you'll see these live streams. I'm going to try to start going live more often as well. But, yeah, the Instagram, NoButts_show, I'll type that out for you, is probably going to be your best bet. Thank you for sticking around, man. That's gonna be your best bet for finding out when we go live. And then I post our regular full show that you can watch whenever you want. As you can see, if you go visit the channel, there's all kinds of stuff up there. So thanks for sticking around, Lawan. Enjoyed talking with you. Other people, feel free to comment. There's more people here in the chat, so feel free to comment. Let's discuss who your favorite signings are. Yeah, so still that Robert Hunt deal is the top of the chart. Just we've got discussion about where Aaron Jones is going now. Nothing official. Potentially the Texans is what some people are saying. Be an interesting signing. They've got Devin Singletary, Dameon Pierce. Maybe is Devin Singletary a free agent? Devin Singletary. Let's find out. We're going to find out together because I've got two different reports here saying opposite things. If you guys see something and I didn't talk about it or I just glossed over it, let me know and we can talk about it even more because I just want to talk about football. I love talking about football here. I understand most people are at work, but feel free to comment what you think so that we can discuss it through the comment section. Yes, he is a free agent. Okay. Is this an updated article? I think yeah, it is. And this article did actually just remind me, Tony Pollard went to the Titans. We'd heard that he was going to be taking maybe a pay cut to stay in Dallas, but now he's with the Tennessee Titans. So they've got their Derrick Henry replacement. I don't know if Tony Pollard is necessarily an upgrade from Derrick Henry. I don't think really anyone can be an upgrade from Derrick Henry, maybe Christian McCaffrey. But, yeah. Tony Pollard to the Tennessee Titans. Brian Callahan has his running back down there in Nashville. So Derrick Henry's another big name we're waiting on. I'd say Derrick Henry, Tyler Boyd, L'Jarius Sneed might get traded from Kansas City, so there's a few guys out there that we are still waiting on. Um, looking for another big name, Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, man, he is so good, and he does not get the credit he deserves, in my opinion. I think he would have made a run at NFL MVP earlier this season if he hadn't gotten hurt. I really wasn't impressed with the quarterbacks who played this season, who played the whole season. I'm still not sure Lamar Jackson should have won MVP, but it's over. It is what it is. I didn't have a vote. But yeah, I think Kirk Cousins is going to be a great signing for Atlanta, and I think he got underpaid, $45 million a year. Also, he can help kind of mentor whoever is there in Atlanta, assuming they bring in someone young. Maybe they keep Desmond Ridder. We'll see there. Robert Hunt got paid big money, though. He got 5-year, $100 million deal. Huge for a guard. These internal O-lineman guys are getting paid a ton of money. So that is per Ian Rappaport and Jeremy Fowler bringing in the big bucks for Robert Hunt to the Carolina Panthers. They're investing in protecting their number 1 overall draft pick in Bryce Young. What do we think about Bryce Young? Do we think Bryce Young is going to pan out? Do we think he's going to end up being the guy we all thought he was? I mean, he's still got a few years to maybe decide that. Some people are still questioning whether Trevor Lawrence is going to be the guy who we thought he was going to be, which was that generational prospect. Yeah, I don't know about Bryce Young. I still don't know about Trevor Lawrence. Mac Jones got traded over there yesterday, and I've already seen so many posts talking about how Mac Jones is going to steal the starting spot from Trevor Lawrence. I don't think that's the case. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that bad necessarily. I don't think he's as good as what he was prospected to be, but I don't think he's bad enough that Mac Jones is going to steal the starting spot from him unless Mac Jones goes on like the greatest quarterback restart run in NFL history. Crazy stuff happens in the NFL all the time, though. Once again, if you're just joining here, first of all, welcome. Second of all, we are just live reacting to these huge signings that were happening. We just had Robert Hunt get signed to the Carolina Panthers as a guard, 5-year, $100 million deal per Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, Mike Garafolo. Like I just said, Panthers are investing in protecting their O-line and their first-round quarterback in Bryce Young. So there's this, yeah. Dude I believe this is the same guy who, let me look this up. Yeah, so Robert Hunt is the big Dolphins guard who got that big boy touchdown that he kind of fumbled, and I think it ended up getting turned around, but he can be an athlete. So the Panthers are getting themselves a guy. Maybe they'll make him a wide receiver, right? Maybe they bring him in as a receiver. But we will see what happens here in Carolina. Just released Von Bell, just signed Robert Hunt. So Carolina has been making moves today. We did have Lawan in here, who is a Jets fan, and he said his team hasn't done anything yet. But Bryce Huff, who was with the Jets, has signed with the Eagles. So they're losing some players. Now they've got to start bringing some players in to New York or New Jersey where they actually play. Bengals haven't really done too much yet either. I'm hoping, please, Cincinnati, do something. Like trade, if you're going to trade T, like do it now and get someone or something. I don't know. It's hard being it's hard being an NFL fan sometimes, right? Our guys, you get attached to them, and then all of a sudden they're in your rivals jersey. Yeah, so Ari Mirov, my sports update on X, has pointed out that the Dolphins defense has not only lost defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, they also lost defensive tackle Christian Wilkins, cornerback Xavier Howard, linebacker Andrew Van Ginkel, safety Brandon Jones, linebacker Jerome Baker, linebacker Emmanuel Ogba, and cornerback Keon Crossan. And I believe there was a rumor that Jamal Ramsey was going to get cut. He hasn't yet. So they still have him. But yeah, they still have to extend Tua as well. So lots of big losses potentially for that Dolphins team. And maybe Mike McDaniel is in trouble. They still have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, though. So they've got their core there along with those running backs, but that defense, they're going to have to be putting up 70 points a game to be winning if that defense falls apart. Dang, nothing's happening. Nothing's going on. What's going on with you guys? Let me know. You guys are here. I can see you. Let me know. Let me know what's going on in your lives. Let's just talk. Let's talk football. Four people. Yeah, welcome. Got a bunch of people who just joined. So we're just talking about these NFL free agency signings. Let me know what you want to talk about. Let me know what you think, what you want your team to do. Let's talk football. You guys can all comment below, and I can see everything you guys comment. We're just going to be – you're not going to miss anything. I got, like, all the stuff pulled up right now. There's not a single signing I think I can miss as long as a credible source is the one who puts it out there. So don't be afraid of that. Just I know some of you guys are at work still, and that's fine, but let me know what you want to talk about. Is any of your teams made a huge signing? Lewan here. Lewan was in here earlier, and he said his Jets haven't made a signing yet. That is completely understandable. It is still the first day of free agency, but Bengals. Jermaine Illuminor is out there. He's hinted that he wants to come play, so go get him. Right tackle, baby. Protect 9. Project Protect 9. Tight ends. Woo, those tight end markets are looking good. Colby Parkinson is out there. He just got a huge deal. So got to get in on that before someone resets the market. Dalton Schultz is another guy who got signed. Drew Sample, they signed to an extension, 3-year, $10.5 million dues. Just saying, T. Higgins would make all the sense in the world joining Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. If I were them, I would take my second-round pick at 43rd and dangle it to the Bengals right this second. T. Higgins to Atlanta, that's from Willie Lutz on X, but T. Higgins to Atlanta would be dangerous. I would already have them winning. I would bet big money on the Falcons winning the NFC South already. If they get T. Higgins, I'm slamming my next paycheck on that because Kirk Cousins, phenomenal. Bijan Robinson, great. Drake London, ton of potential. Kyle Pitts, ton of potential. That O-line is pretty good. Defense is great. Add T. Higgins to that mix, there's no stopping them. There's no stopping the Atlanta Falcons. And I would love a second-round pick for T. Just saying. So, Atlanta, go do that. These things come in waves, right? It's like all the NFL teams. They know when no one is doing anything, and they know when everyone is doing something. So let's do a quick recap here. What do we got? Big signing. So last night was what started all this off, and that was Russell Wilson signing with the Steelers. He announced it on his Twitter. $1.2 million against the Steelers cap, about 35 against the Broncos cap. So that's a big signing for the Steelers. We also know that there may be a slight quarterback competition in Pittsburgh, but that Russell Wilson is probably the likely favorite in that as well. We had a ton of huge signings. We got Michael Pittman Jr. got extended, 3-year, $71.5 million deal there for Michael Pittman Jr., the Colts wide receiver. They're looking to build with Anthony Richardson on that rookie contract, Jonathan Taylor. Josh Downs looks promising. That offense has a ton of potential. They just need a few holes to fill. I'm going back in time here. We got DeAndre Swift to the Chicago Bears. It's a great signing for them. They did need a running back, 3-year, $24 million deal, $8 million a year. So that was a big signing for them. Still interested to see what the Chicago Bears do with Justin Fields. That's really the final pawn that hasn't fallen yet. And now with Kirk Cousins in Atlanta, maybe he goes to the Vikings, but that'd be trading within your own division. I don't know if they do that. We'll see now. We'll see. Deion Dawkins announced his extension by tweeting, "Y'all are cray. Why would ever leave Buffalo? I'm never leaving, guy. I'm Buffalo for life." He's one of the highest paid left tackles in the NFL. Now we're just doing a quick recap here. The Vikings also brought in pass rusher Jonathan Greenard from the Houston Texans. That was a big signing for them. Now that Danielle Hunter is leaving, they needed an edge and a pass rusher. Titans signed running back Tony Pollard to a 3-year deal worth $24 million, according to a source. So they've got their Derrick Henry replacement. David Bakhtiari got released by the Green Bay Packers, and we just found out a few moments ago that Aaron Jones would also be getting released by the Packers, but that's a bit offset by the fact that they signed Josh Jacobs earlier today. So we also have interest from the Vikings in Chiefs cornerback L'Jarius Sneed. He'd have to be traded, though, because he is on that franchise tag. So very interesting to see there. The Commanders signed defensive end Dorrance Armstrong to reunite with Dan Quinn in Washington. So this was another big one. I kind of forgot about this one, but this is a big deal. The Jaguars not only traded for Mac Jones yesterday, but they also brought in former Bills wide receiver Gabe Davis, who is he has that one time a year in fantasy football where he's just absolutely insane. A lot of what Gabe Davis does doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. I think he is a very good player that the Jacksonville Jaguars are able to bring in. Excited to see what he does with Trevor Lawrence down in Jacksonville. So that is a big $1 million guaranteed. That is huge money to throw at Christian Wilkins, and that is kind of why I didn't think the Bengals were going to sign him, because that is a lot of guaranteed money. Let's see, what else do we got here? We know Chris Jones is in Kansas City. Any other big names? Darnell Savage, safety for the Green Bay Packers, is also going to Jacksonville on a 3 deal. Josh Jacobs, like I mentioned before, that's a huge signing right there. Eagles brought in New York Jets rusher Bryce Huff, Kirk Cousins to the Falcons. That's just a quick recap. Barkley to the Eagles. Antonio Gibson to the Patriots. They needed a running back, so that's a good signing for them as well. Man, well, it's obviously a fake. Carry on. Oh, okay. So there's some of you who are on Twitter might know this. Some of you who don't might not. So there are a ton of fake Twitter handles that look legit. So you can have your handle be different than the name, and so people will change their name to an insider, especially this time of year, and whatever that insider's profile pic is. So one of these guys, their handle is Penix to Metcalf, but they changed their name to Adam Schefter, and they tweeted, "Breaking: linebacker Patrick Queen has agreed to a deal with the Seattle Seahawks. Queen is the first of the Ravens to follow former Ravens defensive coordinator Mike Macdonald to Seattle." That would make sense except it's not from the real Adam Schefter. So if you see that, do not believe it. It has not happened. Jeremy Fowler quote tweeted it and said it's obviously a fake. Carry on. Patrick Queen is not going to the Seattle Seahawks at this time. We'll find out at a later date if he is going somewhere else than Baltimore. He is a free agent, so he could go somewhere else, but we will see what happens with linebacker Patrick Queen soon, presumably. He's a good guy. He's a good player. Geno Stone is also a free agent. He's someone that Bengals fans have been looking for some of them to sign as well. Let's see here. What do we have? If you're watching this back later on, I'm sorry. That's kind of a lull between these things. But we have lots of talk going on with these teams. Has New England done anything? Yes, New England has done something. They signed Antonio Gibson, the running back from the Washington Commanders. So that's a big signing here. If you're just joining, make sure to comment below so we can talk. Let's talk about this stuff. What's going on with you guys? What do you want to see your team do? NFL free agency has been absolutely wild today. Has your team done anything? I want to know. I want to talk about it. If I said something you completely disagree with, let me know. Let's hash it out. Let's figure out what the truth is. You're not going to miss anything. We got everything covered right here for you. I got my phone going. I got Twitter over here. I got a Discord news server pulled up. So it is not going to be possible to miss anything. We are going big. I talked about Kenny Pickett getting traded maybe. I'm sure Truss is going to have some takes. Truss and Stan are both going to have some hot takes, I'm sure, with what is going on. So okay. So Jamar Chase just tweeted at 3:42 p.m. LOL IKYL bro. So I am going to assume that means LOL I know you lying bro, which could be in relation to T. Higgins allegedly requesting a trade per Adam Schefter, per his free agent or per his agent. So we've got that out there now. So maybe T. Higgins really doesn't want to leave. Maybe, and like I mentioned, if you are just joining, we know that T. Higgins' agent likes to play war games through the media. So this could be T. Higgins' agent saying something. So we've got that's just Blake Cashman. That happened. Jeremy Fowler, you are behind. But T. Higgins' agent does like to play war games through the NFL media. So there is a possibility that T. Higgins doesn't really want to leave Cincinnati. He doesn't want to trade. But there's also an equal possibility that it is a chance. It is likely. Offensive coordinator Brian Callahan is now the head coach in Tennessee. So that would be a logical location for him. Willie Lutz on Twitter/X pointed out that Atlanta would be another great place for him to go. And then, of course, the Carolina Panthers also would be a logical place for T. Higgins to go. He would have to be traded. His agent has requested a trade. So we'll see what happens there. Anyone else have any thoughts on T. Higgins? Let me know. Let's discuss this because I was planning on making a video about T. Higgins, and then the NFL just like blew up. Everyone was getting signed everywhere. I can't imagine Fanatics is having to print all those new jerseys. Must be a crazy time of year for them as well. Dion from Dose of Dion is currently got a live stream going where he's talking about the Lions free agency. So if you're a Lions fan, I know we have a bunch of those. Subscribe to the show. Love you guys. Make sure to check out Dose of Dion's channel as well so you don't miss out on any of his content because he's always putting out great stuff about the Detroit Lions. So we have no new reports so far. We have a fake report about linebacker Patrick Queen, and then we have Blake Cashman do a 3-year deal worth up to $25.5 million for the Minnesota Vikings. Great deal for them. Free agencies. I'm still kind of curious about this Ja'Marr Chase tweet because Ja'Marr Chase has connections, and he obviously has a connection to T. Higgins, but he also has connections to another wide receiver who now might be on the move, and that's Justin Jefferson. They both played at LSU together. Justin Jefferson just lost his quarterback with Kirk Cousins going to the Atlanta Falcons. Justin said he wants to reset the market. Ja'Marr said he wants to reset the market. Would they forego that to play together? Ja'Marr had said in an interview that he acknowledges that hold on. Ja'Marr did acknowledge in an interview him and Justin would both have to take a pay cut to play together, but maybe with Kirk gone, guy can dream. Texans are getting cornerback Jeff Okudah, former 3rd overall pick from the 2020 draft, 1 year, $4.75 million with $2.5 million guaranteed per Mike Garafolo. So that is a big signing for the Texans. Decent potential, had some injury issues. Lions let him go, but the Texans are bringing him in to help that defense out. D'Amico Ryans apparently likes this guy a lot. Not a whole lot of money though, so that's a pretty good deal, honestly, for what he could be. He hasn't been great, but maybe change of scenery helps him out a little bit. So $4.75 million, about half of that is guaranteed. So great signing for the Texans. Texans have been wheeling and dealing in free agency so far today. They've made some big moves. They've lost a few guys, but they also have found their replacements in free agency as well. So that is our newest signing, Jeff Okudah to the Texans, 1 year, $4.75 million with $2.5 guaranteed per Mike Garafolo. What do we think about that signing, guys? I know y'all are here. Let's see what we got here. Make sure to subscribe below as well because we will be putting out more detailed, individual, researched episodes about a lot of these signings as well. And you're not going to want to miss those. We also do a full show about once a week. Sometimes we do two a week when we're feeling spicy, where we talk about all these signings. These live streams, I'm going to try to do more of them, but I was just having such a hard time updating everything with all these signings that were going on. Everything was going crazy. Let's see here. Let's see. The Bengals front office make deals at times when most 17-year-olds are drinking Red Bull and playing Call of Duty. That is true. So the Bengals will probably pull a Pittsburgh Steelers and sign their big guy of free agency at like 1 a.m. for some reason. Even if they've signed him already, they'll probably just wait to announce it because Aaron Jones. Yeah, Aaron Jones, a 3-time 1,000-yard rusher. He's now out there. He got let go. So what do we think about that? Is Aaron Jones the next big signing? We got. Let's pull up that top 100 free agents. Let's see who all is still out there. I don't have them all memorized, shockingly. So we got some big names still out there, I know, but let's see here. So Kirk Cousins, we know he's been signed to the Falcons. Chris Jones is staying in Kansas City. Josh Allen is staying in Jacksonville on the franchise tag currently. He could be traded. Justin Madubuike from the Ravens, staying with the Ravens. He did get extended. Danielle Hunter is number 5 on this list. He is an edge rusher, 29 years old, with the Minnesota Vikings. Will he go somewhere else? There are some teams that need an edge rusher. And Danielle Hunter is underrated, in my opinion. I'd put him in that same category as Trey Hendrickson, who he's a sack machine, but no one talks about Danielle Hunter. He's number 5 on the free agency list here, and he's the only guy who we don't know where he's going yet. Next is L'Jarius Sneed. He is franchise tagged as well, could be traded. Jalen Johnson got extended by the Bears. Brian Burns is also franchise tagged, another edge rusher. He wants a lot of money, though. I've heard rumors he wants like $30 million. That's T. Higgins could be traded. Antoine Winfield Jr. is franchise tagged. Christian Wilkins, we know he's with the Raiders. The next guy who we don't know where he's going is offensive lineman from the Patriots, Mike Onwenu. He's 15th on this list. And he's a guy who, if the Bengals signed him right now, I would probably get out of this chair and scream. You would see excitement. You would see the most excited human on the earth right now if the Bengals announced that they're signing 26-year-old Mike Onwenu from the New England Patriots, especially if they got a great deal on him, because he can play multiple positions. He can play right tackle. He can play left tackle. He could play guard if need be. And I'm putting him at right tackle, and I'm sticking him there unless someone gets hurt. Then I'm moving him. But Mike Onwenu would be a huge signing for the Bengals. A lot of other teams as well. And that O-line market has been huge today. We've seen some huge signings. Panthers just signed Robert Hunt from the Miami Dolphins, and he got paid big money to play guard. Calvin Ridley, he'd been in talks to come back with Jacksonville, but then Jacksonville went and signed Gabe Davis. So the other team that was reportedly in talks with him was the New England Patriots. So is Calvin Ridley going to become a New England Patriot? Let me know what you think. Leonard Williams, defensive line. Defensive tackles have been getting paid. Christian Wilkins is getting paid $110 million with like $80 million guaranteed. There's some big names out here. We're going to see some big signings still coming up. So make sure to stick around so you don't miss that. We are going to be talking about all of that. We've got Jeff Okudah. Make sure to subscribe because we're going to be making videos about some of these guys. Jeff Okudah, 1-year deal. Oh, now it's being reported by Tom Pelissero that deal is actually worth up to $6 million with incentives. So $4.75 million base, $2.5 guaranteed, $6 million with incentives. Still a great deal for Jeff Okudah, in my opinion, former 3rd overall pick. Chase Young is a free agent. Xavier McKinney, Jonah Williams, Stephon Gilmore, Jadeveon Clowney, Trent Brown, Marquise Brown. Lots of big names still out there. DJ Reader, Chidobe Awuzie, Jonah Jackson. We actually know that they don't have this down here, but he's been signed somewhere. The Lions, I believe, re-signed him. So they know that. Willie Gay Jr., AJ Epinesa. I'm telling you guys, stick around. Some of these guys are going to go today, I am sure. And your favorite team might be in that room right now with a pen, just dangling in front of a guy. Hoping the Bengals are one of those teams dangling that pen in front of a guy. Let's see what we got. Nothing new yet. But something's coming. I can feel it. Something big is coming. I can feel it in my bones. I hope it's something good. Let me know. There's some people here. Let me know. Did your team do anything? Did your team do anything big yet this free agency. We've only been open for 4 hours, but we have seen some big signings so far. Chus and I are going to discuss some of these later on, I'm sure. Some of these big signings. Uh, Breaking news: the Bengals have done nothing 4 hours into the tampering part of free agency. Well, I'm sure they've done something, especially with T. Higgins out there requesting a trade. They might be just tied up with him. Uh, let's see here. Let's see here. What do we got? What do we got? Something big. Give me something. Give me something juicy, right? That's what we want. We want something crazy. We've already gotten something crazy. And now it's like a free agency is like a drug. Once you get like a little bit, you're like, I need more. I need to know where some of these guys are going. I need to see that Bengals logo with alert Bengals signing blank. Someone big. I need Colts signing blank. Someone big. I want to see a big name go somewhere. We got some big. Do you think so? Okay, Scott, thank you for joining. I talked about this a little bit earlier, and I was originally making a video about this. Then everything went crazy. Vonn Bell. I love Vonn Bell. I have met Vonn Bell. Super nice guy. I would love for Vonn Bell to come back. The thing is, he's usually a strong safety, and the Bengals need a free safety. Jordan Battle is the strong safety, and I think he did a really good job. But if I'm reading this right, I believe the Panthers are still paying him $10 million. So if the Bengals were to cut Nick Scott and bring back Vonn Bell, they like those three safety sets. So you could keep Vonn Bell out there still and use him and probably get a decent deal on him. If he wants to come back to Cincinnati, he would have to want to, because he could probably get a better deal to play as a full-time starter somewhere else. But I do think there is a chance Vonn Bell comes back. He originally only left reportedly because the Panthers offered him more guaranteed money. So there's not necessarily bad blood with Vonn Bell and the Bengals. I think there's a chance he comes back. Hopefully on a deal. He's gonna want to make a Super Bowl run. I think he's getting older. I'd like them to pick Justin Simmons up if they don't get Vonn Bell any chance. Yeah, Justin Simmons now. Justin Simmons is a free safety, and there are a ton of safeties in the market right now, and I think that works very well in the Bengals' favor, because something the Bengals did the short term I thought was really dumb and long term is paying out is they let Jesse Bates walk. And they let Jesse Bates walk for guaranteed money. And I love Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates, one of my favorite players of all time. But with the way the market is now, the safeties don't have a ton of leverage, including Justin Simmons. And you can get a pretty good deal on Justin Simmons. I think Justin Simmons, Jordan Poyer, two free safeties that are out there. Geno Stone and Justin Blackmon, or Julian Blackmon, excuse me, if you want to go younger, are also out there. So there are a ton of safeties. Antoine Winfield Jr. is technically still he's still up for trade if you want to go that route. But there are a ton of guys out there. I think there's a chance the Bengals swing and get Justin Simmons. And that is not a knock on Dax Hill either. You're right. Our young guys will fly with the little guys. Jordan Battle, he should have been starting by week 1. We said that when the Bengals drafted him. Truss has been huge on Jordan Battle. I've been huge on Jordan Battle. Nick Scott, I didn't like that signing at any point. But Jordan, if you bring in Justin Simmons, yes, you're exactly right, Scott. The Bengals defensive guys will do great. Dax Hill, I would move him to cornerback, which is his true position. Everyone is dissing Dax Hill because he's a first-round pick. They're saying he didn't pan out. He's not a safety. We've got him playing a position that he's not meant to play. He's a cornerback deep down. So I'd move him there or put him in like a 3-safety set. There's stuff you can do with Dax Hill. Dax Hill hasn't done anything where I'm just like, cut him, be done with him. He has no chance. I'm bringing in Dax Hill. I'm bringing in a veteran safety, whether it's Justin Simmons, Jordan Poyer. Justin Simmons and Jordan Poyer I'd love both those signings. I love Jordan Poyer. Vonn Bell is now out there. That's another guy who I'd obviously like to bring back. Cheeto is a free agent. He better than safety is key. He better. I'm not sure what you mean there, Scott, by that comment, but I don't know if you're talking about Dax or Justin, but Justin would definitely be a better safety. Oh yeah, a better safety is key in my book. You're right. You're right. Yes, for sure. I think you have to bring in a safety, especially the way the AFC North is built. You have to have a guy who can make tackles as well. Otherwise, we're going to be seeing way too many of those George Pickens long ball just running away. And we saw that with Nick Scott. Nick Scott could not make tackles. There were a ton of plays this year where they should have been stopped at or below the line, and Nick Scott just didn't make the tackle. Jordan Battle had a few as well, but I think he still had less than Nick Scott. So that's when you've got a rookie versus a vet, and the rookie is outperforming the vet. I cut the vet personally, and I'm bringing in a safety. I love safeties, and when I play Madden, safety is the position I play. Like I said, Jesse Bates is one of my favorite all-time players. So I'm bringing in Geno Stone, maybe. Julian Blackmon might be more expensive, but I would love Jordan Poyer, Justin Simmons. Those are like my dream signings right there. Like if I could go to Mike Brown and just say, hey, just sign Justin Simmons or Jordan Poyer, and the defense would work so much better. You can move your corners around, and you can never have too many defensive backs as well. There are so many ways you can move around your defensive backs that I think Dax would still find a spot in that defense. We do have a signing, though, and it's a safety, but it's with the Packers. The Packers have signed safety Xavier McKinney to a 4-year deal worth $68 million via Ian Rappaport. So that is, and Rappaport has even said that Xavier McKinney is getting $25 million in year one for Green Bay. So that's going to be a big signing. He's a young guy. We knew he was going to be a bit more expensive. That's okay. I'm hoping one of these guys wants to come and make a Super Bowl run with the Bengals, because we're really not that far off away from getting back there, in my opinion, even if T. Higgins gets traded. I like what we've seen with Yoshi. Also, if T. Higgins gets traded, then you don't have to pay that $21.8 million, I think it is, towards him, so you can make some more moves. I love this time of year is exciting, and it's sad because you see all these guys that you love getting moved on from. That's going to be about, for Xavier McKinney, I just did the math, it's going to be about $17 million a year for him, but he's getting appears a front-loaded contract, $25 million in year one. So Packers, their defense was trouble last year. Now they're making some moves to get some guys. They've got Xavier McKinney now, so that's a great signing for the Green Bay Packers, and that is a safety off the board. But I think we still got some big names out there. Jordan Poyer's getting paid by the Bills as well because they cut him. Geno Stone's a free agent. Don't forget about June 1st release. Plenty of fish will be out looking for roster. Exactly, Kelly. Yeah, this isn't even the end. there's so much going on. I hear people talk about how the NFL is so boring in the summer, but no, if you pay attention, if you're watching NFL free agency and looking at what's going on, no, there is a ton of stuff going on. And honestly, that's where teams make or break, is those post June 1st releases, because that's where your depth is. We just had another signing as well. Giants and Texans running back have that. Ian Rappaport worded that horribly. But, okay, former Texans running back Devin Singletary has reached an agreement to go to the Giants per source. So they found their Saquon Barkley replacement in New York, and that is Devin Singletary. So, but going back to what you were saying, Kelly, exactly. You've got depth. First of all, in June 1st cuts, you can sign guys who maybe it's not a huge name, but maybe, hey, your guy just pulled his hamstring for 2 games. He's going to be out. Who are you signing that is going to keep you guys afloat for a while? I mean, Bengals fans know that better than anyone, I think, or at least they should. Just because someone isn't a big name doesn't mean they're a bad football player. Look at Jake Browning. Jake Browning got cut from the Minnesota Vikings practice squad, and we were alive way longer than we should have been with Jake Browning. We almost beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And realistically, if the Bengals beat the Kansas City Chiefs in that regular season game, they make the playoffs, which they shouldn't have, really. I mean, T. Higgins was hurt all year. Joe Burrow was out for the season. He only played like 4 games fully healthy. Those post-June 1st signings are going to be huge. You're going to have guys getting cut who aren't necessarily huge names, but they're going to make a big deal. And DB is a position where that shows up a lot because, you're right, Kelly. You're exactly right. We could go deeper into that as well. So we got Singletary to Giants, and we have Xavier McKinney to the Packers. 2 big signings that just happened in the last few minutes as well. Let me make sure. Make sure you guys are all subscribed. Thanks for joining along and talking. I enjoy talking with you guys. And I always try to respond to comments in the comment section of videos as well. So make sure you are subbed so that you don't miss anything and we can continue these conversations. So any thoughts on Devin Singletary to the Giants or Xavier McKinney to the Packers? Does that excite us, worry us, or anything? I know Scott here is a Bengals fan, it seems, so he might be a bit worried about that signing Xavier McKinney, that safety signing, but I think we could still get a bargain deal on a safety. I kind of expected Xavier McKinney with his youth to be a bigger signing numbers-wise. Let's see here. We're going to be doing much. Oh, my Dolphins are being poached. Yes, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, Kelly. I don't know if you were here yet, but your Dolphins, Ari Mirov, actually. Let me see if I can pull up that tweet so that I can read it for you, because I guess Jalen Ramsey hasn't been released yet. I'd heard a rumor that he might, but I doubt that's the case now based on the moves y'all have made. But so we have everyone from the Giants getting or the Dolphins getting poached, as you said. They've lost Christian Wilkins. You've got Robert Hunt, who I believe Kelly, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't he the guard who caught that ball and like almost had a touchdown and like flipped over the top of another guy? He's with the Panthers now. Xavier Howard was released. Andrew Van Ginkel released. Brandon Jones is gone. Jerome Baker gone. Emmanuel Ogbah gone. Cornerback Keon Crossan is gone. So lots of big names from the Dolphins. Okay, I thought that was Robert Hunt. So he got paid a lot to Hunt on INT. Yeah. He is big. He got paid like $100 million though. I don't know. Would you pay Kelly? Would you have wanted to pay him $100 million? You've got Tua's extension still coming up. So are you willing to pay him that? You also lost your defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. Oh no. Yeah, so Kelly ain't paying Robert Hunt that $100 million. So Panthers were willing to invest that to protect Bryce Young. So yeah, Miami. You got Tyreek Hill, Tua, Jalen Waddle. You still got some guys. Jalen Ramsey's still there. There's still some names down there. Yeah, he got called back, Scott. I'm pretty sure he was down. if I remember it right, and Kelly can correct me if I'm wrong, he was down and then kind of fumbled it out as well, but it never made it in the end zone anyway. So they just called it down at the line. Um, Kelly, let me know if I'm remembering that incorrectly, though. That was a while ago. But it was a big down by contact. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So that was a big play, though. I saw like Madden mocks where they were putting Robert Hunt flipping over the top of, I forget who that was, him flipping over the top of them, and that was who they wanted the Madden cover to be that year. So let me turn on Arimirov's tweets as well, because he is tweeting a bunch of information. I've got Jeremy Fowler, Rap Sheet. I got everyone on here. So Ian Rappaport's still talking about Xavier McKinney. Giants signing running back Devin Singletary. 6'6", 330. He's a big boy. He is in that. The Bengals need a left guard. Like Cordell Volson is good for depth, but I don't think he's a good starting left guard. And that number scares me. 100 mil is a lot to put into a player, especially on your O-line. Is it worth it? Depends on the player, right? I want the Bengals to invest in protecting Joe Burrow, and they have. It just hasn't worked out. And whether that's because of Frank Pollock or just because their O-line scouting has been awful, I don't know. I am hammering right tackle in the draft, though, round one. I don't care if you sign someone in free agency. Jermaine Illuminor hasn't been signed anywhere yet, but he has hinted at wanting to come to Cincinnati. Even if you sign Jermaine Illuminor, even if you sign Mike Onwenu, who I would also love, you still bring in a right tackle, in my opinion, to compete at the position. And Mike Onwenu can also play left guard. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, that is just too much dough, especially because you guys are trying to like save cap for your defense. That's why you cut Xavier Howard, which I was really excited when Xavier Howard got signed to see him play with Jalen Ramsey. But then with injuries, we never got to see a whole lot of that. And you still have to extend Tua. Tyreek Hill I think Tyreek Hill has still said that he's going to retire after this contract. So you're kind of in a win now situation. I don't know, Scott. There are more out there, but O-line is a hard position to get really good at. There's a ton of good players out there, but they're all signed to teams. I mean, to put it in context, Scott, PFF currently has Jonah Williams ranked as a top 5 person to sign in free agency. So that's where we're at. I mean, I know Bengals fans hate Jonah Williams at left tackle. He doesn't like playing right tackle, so I do think he's gone. But he's top 5 technically. There's not a ton out there. You're very bottom of the barrel. There is a ton of stuff in this draft, though. You are right. We could bring in a guard through the draft with that second draft pick. I would go right tackle on first, and then maybe second you go guard. I'd go guard or defensive interior. But, yeah, there are more out there, but it is a hard position to nail. It is, but we're talking about how much money. That's hard to tell. These markets are blowing up. Like Robert Hunt, 100 mil. All these players are going to point at Robert Hunt now and say, look at who he's getting paid by. That's Tua's quick passes don't necessarily need a 20. Yeah, that's true. Kelly, I don't know. I assume they'll pop up. But for the people who are watching this later, in Miami's case, Tua's quick passes don't necessarily need a $20 million guard. That's true, but you still want to protect the franchise. And the Bengal, I feel like Joe Burrow does a lot of quick passes. They like to try and do play action, but I feel like they always end up going back to quick passes eventually. But still, I'm protecting I'm throwing everything out there to protect my quarterback, especially. Like I said, the Dolphins need – so Volson isn't awful. Volson is not the worst guard in the NFL. He isn't great either, though. I think he'd be a good sixth guy. Just keep him there as depth. If someone gets hurt, throw him in for a game. But I'm not paying him big money either. I'm not paying him Robert Hunt money. We have to remember when we're looking at the Bengals O-line guys, they are playing the best pass rushers in the NFL 6 times a year. They're paying Myles Garrett. They're paying Jadeveon Clowney. They're paying TJ Watt 6 times a year. That is insane. Joe certainly needs more protection, but he's so much more creative on his feet. That's true. That is true. But I'm not in it. If you've listened to the podcast, if you've been following for a long time, I am not huge on rushing positions. So I also, real quick, Ari Mirov just tweeted that the Steelers have reached an agreement with former Texans punter Cameron Johnston, who also looks like Bill Burr. So that's their replacement for Presley Harvin, just so you guys know. I want to keep you guys up to date. But I don't like it when quarterbacks run a ton because it usually means they're going to get injured more often. We've seen that with Lamar Jackson a little bit, which Joe has had some injury issues. I don't think he's injury prone. Some of the stuff is just out of his control, like COVID and appendicitis. That's not a football injury, but people include it anyway. That being said, still protect 9. I don't think Josh Allen should run as much as he has been. He said that as well. He needs to stay back and just kind of play quarterback. Yeah, Scott, he's not. He shouldn't be starting. I agree. He should not be starting. Cordell should not be starting. He isn't. I don't think he's awful though. I'd have to go back and rewatch some stuff, but I don't think he's as bad as what a lot of people think he is. I think he has potential. I don't like Frank Pollock personally. I don't think he's that great of a offensive line coach. And Cordell Volson also, he was like a 4th or 5th round pick, so he wasn't really drafted to be a starter as well. So I don't know if I can. Well, let me share this tweet. I'd show you guys here. Go look up a picture of Cameron Johnston. He does look like Bill Burr, because I don't think there's a way for me to share this tweet on this stream. This is my first time doing this. I'm looking at some programs here, though, that will help me do that. Oh, share screen. There we go. So here is Ari Mirov's tweet. So as you can see, yeah, he does kind of look like Bill Burr. So, no, I get the frustration. Scott, you don't have to apologize. I get frustrated too watching this team. But I think we have to remember the context. Like I said, we are playing some of the best pass rushers in the NFL as well. And we just kind of threw our rookie 4th rounder out there and said, go guard Myles Garrett. Because Myles Garrett will come to the inside sometimes on those. He'll get sneaky. He doesn't like to go to the outside. So if he gets pushed inside, then Cordell has to stop that. And it doesn't usually go well. Yeah, I don't think Frank has – I think you're right about that. I don't think Frank has changed. But that's why I don't want Mekhi Becton. We had a video about that with Stan the Jet fan. Mekhi Becton isn't that good. Everyone's talking about his potential. He's a former 1st round pick, like top 10 pick or something. He has all this potential. He keeps getting hurt. He isn't going to be that good. I am not signing him for more than vet minimum personally. And even then, I am still bringing in like Jermaine Illuminor or someone who's at least been healthy. And I'm still, even with both those guys, I'm drafting another right tackle because I am assuming that Mekhi's going to get hurt or he isn't going to make the team. He also is a left tackle, and he doesn't really like throwing. He didn't like going to right tackle with the New York Jets. So I don't know why he would come to the Bengals to be a right tackle. I am not signing Mekhi Becton. But the major thing people were connecting with that was he's a Frank Pollock guy. Why do we want more of that? Why do we want another Frank Pollock guy? Yes, he is still the O-line coach. Yes, okay, sure. But what have we seen from Frank Pollock guys? We're like, this is a good thing. It's not if it was like Bill Callahan guy, I'd be all over that. Bill Callahan is one of the best O-line coaches the NFL has ever seen. Yeah, John Ross had potential. I hate that draft class. I hate that draft class, Scott. I collect football cards, and I have the entire. Okay, we do have a signing, but let me finish this thought. I have the entire 2017 draft class in the rookies and stars set, and every time I get to John Ross, I see like Christian McCaffrey, I see T.J. Watt, all these big names that are out there, and I'm just like, how did we end up with John Ross in the first round? But our signing that we have is running back Gus Edwards from the Ravens is signing with the Chargers, according to Ian Rappaport. So he's switching Harbaugh brothers. He is saying bye-bye to John Harbaugh, and he's heading over to Jim in the warmer city of L.A. That means Austin Ekeler is very likely gone. That's going to be interesting as well with the Ravens because they've had J.K. Dobbins, but he's been injured, and then Gus Edwards has been their go-to guy. So who do the Ravens bring in at running back? I like Frank and personally have given him chance, but it's been a long. Yeah, no, the thing with Frank is I'm sure, and anyone I critique, and I'm not like there's better O-line gurus than me out there, but anyone I critique, like I could still sit down with most of them and have a beer and chill. I'm not like I don't hate Frank. I just don't see how we've spent so much money on this O-line only for it to be a bit better, but not where it should be, in my opinion. And I think part of that goes to coaching. I'll give him one more year with a first round pick on O line, but after that, whew, if this doesn't improve, what do we think about this signing? The Ravens losing Gus Edwards. That's going to be bigger than I think a lot of people realize. Like I said, he's kind of been that go-to guy with J.K. Dobbins getting hurt. That's an interesting one, and that puts Austin Ekeler out there too. So Austin Ekeler's a free agent, probably not getting re-signed with the Chargers. Where's Gus? Yeah, Kelly. Gus just got signed to the LA Chargers. He's switching Harbaugh brothers, and that's per Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport. So I trust that report greatly. Both of those guys are great at doing their jobs. He's heading over to LA, so we will see what happens there. So the Gus bus is heading to LA. Making notes. I think they still have Justice Hill. Let me pull up the Ravens depth chart. Like all their running backs got hurt last season. They ended up signing Melvin Gordon, and then they had Dalvin Cook on the practice squad. They brought him in after he was released by the Jets. So it'll be the depth chart will be released during. That's why I hate the Ravens. Every other team, you could Google who is their 2023 depth chart. Nope. The Ravens took it offline. So, okay. Thanks a lot, Baltimore. But I think Justice Hill is still there. I think Dax Hill is his brother or cousin. They're related. And then they've got some practice squad guys. But the Gus bus is heading to LA from Baltimore. Can't wait for fantasy football. Gus is a guy to stash. Honestly, I don't know if he's a running back one, but he always finds a way to play, and he usually ends up doing pretty well. So that could be nothing's going on with Henry yet, Scott. We haven't seen anything. There's also those rumors that Joe Mixon is going to get cut. I would think the Bengals would do right by Joe Mixon, and if they're going to cut him, they would do it now so that he has a chance to negotiate and go where he wants. Derrick Henry is the only guy, though, who I would cut Joe Mixon for. That is out there. There's no one out there in free agency who, and I made a video about this because I'm so tired of this report. Matthew Berry is the one who reported it this year that they're going to cut Joe Mixon. There's no one out there, even Saquon. I didn't think that the money to production ratio was really out there for Saquon against Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon, you're getting more than what you paid for personally, unless you bring in Derrick Henry on a similar deal. Yes, we got it, guys. Scott, the Bengals are signing former Ravens safety Geno Stone per Schultz report. Oh my gosh, Scott. We got it. That's per Ari Miroff. Huge signing. The fan base is going to love that. Oh, RBs are a dime. That's right, Kelly. But right now, we are talking about Geno Stone to the Cincinnati Bengals. What a deal. Oh my gosh, I am so glad that I am live for that. Oh, I am so happy. Oh, I hope we got a good deal on him. That I am so Oh man, I'm like texting a ton of people right now. Oh my gosh, guys. There might be only 5 of you here right now, but you just saw the most excited person. Oh man, I'm the most excited person on earth right now. Nope, Scott, I am telling you the truth. That is right. That is awesome. That that guy went from picking off Joe Burrow at the goal line. Now he's on our team. Can't do it anymore, buddy. Oh man, I'm hoping we got a deal on him. Ari Miroff, let me pull up this tweet here so you guys can all see it. See that I'm not lying. We got division change. The Bengals are signing former Ravens safety Geno Stone per Schultz report. That is Jordan Schultz. The former 7th round pick had an AFC leading 7 interceptions this past season. Oh, this is such a great signing. No, this is great. Like I said, I was big on Jordan Poyer and Justin Simmons because I thought we could maybe get a cheap deal on him because they're older. But Geno Stone, he's young. We could get him for a few years, lock down that position, and then not have to worry about it. You want some depth there, but I mean, hey, I'll take it. I will take it. Let me see where he was. He was ranked fairly high for this free agency. Nothing like a divisional steal. That's right, Kelly. We're Geno Stone, 24 years old, 48 on the list. He's ahead of Mekhi Becton. He's actually ahead of Derrick Henry too. So huge signing for the Cincinnati Bengals. That's exactly how I saw him previewed last night. Oh, I remember that play. I hated that play. I was like, who the heck is this guy? I'm so annoyed by him. He hadn't really played much till last year, but he made the most. $15 million deal over 2 years, $6 million signing bonus. Scott, we did it. Oh, that's a good deal. That's what I wanted them to get. A 2-year, 15 mil. $6 million signing bonus. So, oh man. Well, guys, guess what video is going to be coming next? Geno Stone to the Bengals. We're going to be talking about that. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, okay. Everyone was saying the Bengals wouldn't do anything. That is a great deal for the Bengals. $7.5 million a year for a safety, starting free safety. I'm a happy camper here. Now, let's get a defensive tackle somewhere. I don't know where. That's gonna keep me going the rest of the live stream. Yep, 7 picks. That's a lot of picks. Well, congrats to you too, Scott. You're a Bengals fan as well. This is big. And the Ravens, not only did the Bengals gain a safety, the Ravens lost a safety. And the Ravens defensive players have been fleeing since Mike McDonald got signed to be the Seattle Seahawks head coach. So this is big. This is big, 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 big. I am a happy little camper over here. Oh man, this is what. Okay, we got to get back to. I can't just keep yelling. I gotta actually like talk. Okay, so Bengals got that safety, so that's a big deal for the Bengals. Oh man. So that's two safeties off the board now. Xavier McKinney and Darnell Savage also is gone, but major safeties Geno Stone and Xavier McKinney have both been signed to new teams. Xavier McKinney to the Packers. Bengals getting the former Ravens safety Geno Stone. Wow. Love to see it. Let's see. What do we think about that, Scott? It seems like you like it based on your comments here. Kelly, you got any thoughts? Anyone else? There's other people here besides just us. Let me know what you guys think about this signing. This is a big deal. Make sure to like and subscribe as well. We will be covering all of this in a more synced way. Hey, we just hit 200 subs too on the channel. Thank you, whoever that was. Whoever that 200 subscriber was. We're continuing to grow. I'm working hard. I'm grinding fast, annoying the heck out of Chus. I'm constantly sending him information and asking him to do stuff, and he does way more than he has to. But that 200 subs means a lot, guys. So and if you're subbed, that means a lot. But whoever that 200 was, thank you so much. But yeah, we should be jacked, Scott. You should be. I'm going to take a brief break here for a second, and I am going to go and get some water because my throat is a bit dry from yelling about Geno Stone. But when I get back, we are going to talk more about the NFL free agency and what we're expecting to see. So I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Ask me questions below, and we'll answer it. Remember, Von Bell's still out there. DJ Reader hasn't been signed yet. Derrick Henry's still out there. Let me know. Wet the whistle. That's right. I got to wet the whistle. There, I brought me a whole bottle of water so I don't have to leave if the Bengals do something else big and I start screaming and hooting and hollering again. Let's see here. What do we got? That's good signing coming from the Bengals. Hey, I thought they were serious last year with Orlando Brown, and honestly, people were mad about the defense. I get it, but our defense was so young last year. we had like Jordan Battle was starting, Dax Hill was starting, who Dax was really just a rookie. Like, I know he was a 2021 pick, but if Joe Burrow was going to get a season-ending injury, last season was the season to do it. Let those guys mesh up, and now they're bringing in Geno Stone. Great signing. Love this signing. I think the Bengals were serious last year with Orlando Brown Jr. They showed us that they're serious, but that defense needs some veteran help. They went and got it. I love 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 it. Jeez, it's already 4:30. Wow. Time flies when you are having fun. So I can't do this for my full-time job yet, but this is what I want my full-time job to be. I'll try to hop on here as well tomorrow if stuff is just going crazy, but I won't be able to Wednesday because I have to be at work. But I enjoy talking with you. I love just coming on here and talking football. It's a great time for all of us. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it as well. Geno Stone, man. I know I said I was going to stop talking about it, but I am so excited by it. I am so happy. Man, let's see what else we got out there though. Any other big signings? I think they're serious. I think the Bengals know that they've got to get a Super Bowl with Joe Burrow. I'm interested to see what compensation they get for T. Higgins, because T. Higgins is going to be a guy who if we fix left guard and if we fix for sure. If you get left guard, which again, this draft is great for O-line. You can get, if you spend your first 2 draft picks on O-line, which depending on what happens with T, that's the other thing, because you need a wide receiver. You need a wide receiver really anyway because of Tyler Boyd. I am not. Let me think. Let me think about this before I say something. Yeah, exactly. Okay, see, this is what I'm debating here. So you've got it. So we need a wide receiver, theoretically, because of Tyler Boyd. Then if you trade T, you need a second wide receiver. And Yoshi and Charlie Jones have been great. But do we want to send out both Yoshi and Charlie Jones with Joe? And I think Yoshi's more of an outside guy anyway. Tyler Boyd played the slot. Jamar can play the slot, but I don't think you want to keep him in the slot. But Yoshi, I'm fine with. Charlie Jones, I'm more hesitant about. I think you have to get a wide receiver somewhere. Then, okay, let's say we sign a right tackle. You draft a right tackle. You second round, I would go defensive lineman. I really like Braden Fisk from Florida State. If you really just need to get a replacement for DJ Reader, and that's all you're going for, then Tavondre Sweat is also a very similar player. They're not going to be huge pass rush guy, but it's someone who is just kind of a wall that guys can't run through. So second round maybe for those guys. Could go guard. Zach Zinter from Michigan is really good. Then he got injured, and his draft stock fell. Okay, Scott, I get it. Look at what Patrick Mahomes did with the receivers, but he also had Travis Kelce. Burrow doesn't have a Travis Kelce right now. Rashee Rice also kind of figured it out near the end of the season. Mahomes was struggling before Rashee Rice figured it out as well, and before Hardman and Hardman came back. They were struggling there. There were talks that they were going to miss the playoffs if the Broncos and Raiders figured it out, which they didn't. But this is going to be weird. This is going to be a weird draft. I've been saying T. Higgins is going to be that kind of key that lets us know a bunch of stuff. And now, same thing with Justin Fields. I wanted Justin Fields to fall first because then we knew where the Bears were going. We knew where where Justin Fields was going to end up, which kind of would have helped us know where Russell Wilson would end up and Kirk Cousins. And now it's all kind of backwards. Rice is a weapon. Yeah, exactly. No, and then they started to utilize him, and they figured it out. They also took Kadarius Toney off the field. I'm not comfortable sending Jamar Chase, Yoshi, and I love Yoshi, and Charlie Jones out there as Burrow's receivers, and then maybe like a rookie tight end, even if it's Brock Bowers, who I don't want it to be, because that means we didn't draft a right tackle in the first round. And I have a thing with tight ends. They're my favorite position, but we just got Josh Jacobs' contract, but let me finish this. Tight ends, there are very few drafts where if you go and look back at it, you're like, yes, that is the best tight end from that draft. There are very few drafts. And a lot of times, if there's an argument to be made for a tight end to be the best of their draft, it's a late round guy. Like George Kittle was a late round guy. So you don't necessarily need to draft a tight end first round to get a good guy, which is why Ben Sinnott is my guy that I'm going for in this draft. You don't, but it's nice to have. right, Scott? It's nice to have better. I mean, in Yoshi, I think will be good, but who knows how long that's going to take. I know we still have Chase. I know we still. Real quick, let me update you guys on some stuff that popped up. So Texans agreed to terms with DB Mike Ford on a 2-year deal worth $4.5 million total. So that's kind of a small signing, maybe a depth piece there, but they're still working on their defense down there in Houston. Holy cow. Okay. So this isn't what I'm reacting to. Packers are signing 2-time Pro Bowler Josh Jacobs to a 4-year, $48 million deal per Tom Pelissero and Rap Sheet. So $12 million a year for Josh Jacobs. That means the running back market's making a bit of a bounce back. What I was reacting to is the Raiders have agreed to terms with quarterback Gardner Minshew on a 2-year deal, and he's going to compete with the starting spot for Aiden O'Connell. Wow. Okay. Didn't expect that. I didn't expect him to go to the Raiders. I really thought the Colts were going to re-sign him, but they didn't. And I'm interested to see what the Raiders are paying for that. But wow. Offensive line is much more important than wide receiver. No, yes. I'm not drafting a wide receiver in the first round. I'm not drafting the position. So first round is right tackle. First depth, no matter what. I don't care who you sign. Will Kelly, he's competing with Aiden O'Connell. So those are their two guys that they're saying right now. And is Jimmy Garoppolo a free agent? They might still have Jimmy Garoppolo. But let me finish this real quick. No, Scott, you're right. First round, right tackle. Second round, that's where I'm having questions. You go wide receiver or do you go defensive interior there? Or do you go Minshew to the Raiders? That was you could go guard. I think how long are you willing? I know, Scott, you're not a huge fan of Cordell Volson, but Zach Zinter, do you take a late round swing on him, who he probably would have been a first or second rounder before his injury? You take that late round swing on him and then let Cordell play and then compete with Zach Zinter. That's a possibility. Wide receiver, do you go second or third round wide receiver there? There are some guys who you can have some potential with, and we just need a wide receiver too, because like you said, we still have Jamar Chase in Cincinnati. But let's see here. There's that's why it's hard to tell. Bucks are re-signing defensive tackle Greg Gaines to a 1-year, $3.5 million deal. Nothing to break the bank there. Another Ravens player, though, is leaving, and that is All-Pro special teams player Devin Duvernay has agreed to a deal with the Jaguars. He gets a 2-year deal worth $8.5 million base with up to $12.5 million per his agent Eric Burkhart. So another Ravens draft pick going somewhere else. Yeah, no, Scott, it's and really you can make moves. There's stuff we can do. The Bengals aren't screwed if T loses. It's just going to be harder to replace him than I think. Raiders are expected to release Jimmy per reports. He will be suspended for the first. Okay. I wasn't sure if they had released him yet. I knew he'd get. His suspension is kind of funny if you look into it. He was suspended for performance enhancing drugs, but I think, at least the reports that I read, they were pretty much just pain meds that he didn't get approved with the NFL. And so his performance enhancing drugs were to help him with his injury. So, yeah. No, Jimmy G is – so, Scott, Jimmy Garoppolo is already with the Raiders. Gardner Minshew is not suspended. Jimmy Garoppolo is suspended. Gardner Minshew wasn't suspended, and Minshew is now going to the Raiders on a 2-year deal. Okay, this is great news here. This isn't a signing, but I do want to share it. This is – yeah. So this is from Texans defensive end Dylan Horton. He said on his Twitter, on December 1st, 2023, I was diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. Through God's grace, I'm blessed to say that I'm currently in remission. I'm grateful for the love from my family and friends and support from the Texans organization and my doctors. My next objective is to get back to playing the game that I love. Thank you for your prayers and support as I continue this journey. So he is free from stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. That is defensive end Dylan Horton. That is great news for the Texans. That is beautiful. Yeah, that's Geno Stone, Dylan Horton's news right there. That really happy for him. Not a huge name, but that transcends sports right there, and it's kind of what we like to do here on this podcast. Is we like to remember that they're people. That's what I try to do when critiquing them, and I recognize that they're all better athletes than me. A lot of them are better people than me as well. So that's great news for Dylan Horton. I'm really happy that I got to see that and report that right now. But yeah, let's get back to some free agency stuff before I start crying for him. Gardner Minshew is in Las Vegas. You got a raise. Holy, got a big raise. Tom Pelissero just said 2-year, $25 million deal that includes $15 million fully guaranteed per sources. So $15 million fully guaranteed for Gardner Minshew in the Raiders. Yeah, Scott, no, that it is beautiful. I'm really happy for Dylan Horton. But like I said, we got to move on, or else I'm going to start crying on the live stream, because that's a big deal for him. Gardner Minshew making big money. Dylan Horton beating some bad diseases. I love to see it. That's beautiful. Lots of stuff going on here. Who's left on the defensive interior free agency wise? So let's see. Let's go through here some. So DJ Reader is still out there. Obviously, he's got that quad injury, which that's hard to come back from. We don't actually know if he will be able to play week 1 with that quad injury, so that might hinder his signing a little bit. Leonard Williams from the Seahawks, I believe, is still out there. Yes, he is. He has not been signed yet. Let me look here. Edge. Trying to think as well as going down the list here. So Reader, as we just talked about. Danico Autry, but he's 33 years old, and the Bengals don't like to sign people over the age of 30. He's was with the Titans last. These guys are getting paid big money. Daquan Jones from the Bills. He'd be kind of a sneaky. I don't know if he'd want to. He's a vet. He is 32 years old. he could be someone the Bengals maybe get sneaky with and try to get a deal done with him potentially, because BJ Hill is the only guy on the roster right now that's healthy, I think. So Grover Stewart from the Colts, he's 30 years old, but he could be another cheap guy that they add who's pretty good. He's 69 overall on this free agency rankings chart. There's some guys out there, but they're getting expensive. These defensive linemen are getting expensive. Javon Kinlaw, 26 years old, last with the 49ers. That's the last that's on the top 100. So there are some guys. There are some people out there on the defensive line who you can add, but it's going to be expensive. That's why I'm kind of looking towards the draft for that. And originally, before the combine, I was taking Braden Fisk and T'Vondre Sweat 2-3, second and third round, because they were there and I could, and they're two different types of defensive tackles. Braden Fisk is more of a pass rush guy, where T'Vondre Sweat is, like I said, more of that just wall that you just stick there. I think there's a ton of guys the Bengals would like to have, but I mean, a lot of them are older too, though, so maybe they don't like them. There's a ton of guys I like Grover Stewart. I like him. I do think they'll go to the draft for defensive line, though, just because even if they choose to ignore their age rule about not signing people over the age of 30 or at the age of 30, then you've got the money. And the defensive tackles are, I mean, let's just look at the two guys who have gotten signed in the past few days. Christian Jones is making like $32 million a year. Christian Wilkins is making $110 million. I think he's making like $27 million a year at the end of his contract. So we're paying quarterback. I mean, compare that to Gardner Minshew's contract. Gardner Minshew is making 12.5 per year, and he's not even a starter, but he's getting $15 million guaranteed. Sweat if Sweat becomes available, that's a possibility. But I mean, you're getting paid. You got to pay big money if you want an elite defensive tackle out there. That's why I'm kind of looking to the draft, because these guys are expensive. These guys are more expensive than I think the Bengals are going to be willing to pay, because the Bengals aren't one of those teams that can put everything into a signing bonus. They're not. They just don't have that money. So everything's going to go against the cap. And we've got Joe Burrow, his cap. And then you got Jamar Chase and his cap. And then right now you still have $20 million fully guaranteed for T. Higgins, his cap. So you've got these big names. This is what comes with signing big names, though, is you get big cap hits. But let's also remember Trey Hendrickson, when he got signed, he wasn't a big name. A lot of people said the Bengals were stupid to sign him. They said that letting Carl Lawson go was stupid. And then trying to replace him with Trey Hendrickson, who the heck is that guy? And now, let's look, what has Carl Lawson done with the Jets? They cut him. Trey Hendrickson is a top 5 sack leader in the NFL. So sometimes these guys who aren't necessarily big names end up being the biggest names on your team. So we'll see what happens. But they're active. Mike Brown's awake. He just signed Geno Stone. I'm sure they're in talks with some other guys. A sneaky little guy who no one's talking about that I want them to sign is Tommy Townsend, who is the former punter for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's set to be a free agent. Well, he is a free agent now. And Bengals haven't had a good punter since Kevin Huber retired. Drew Chrisman replaced Kevin Huber, then Kevin Huber retired. Drew Chrisman he got cut. Brad Robbins was drafted, hasn't been good. I'm just bringing in Tommy Townsend. I'm saying we're solving this. He's the best punter in the NFL right now. Free agent. Chiefs signed Matt Araiza, which suggests to me they're going a different direction. Sign Tommy Townsend and just finish it. We shouldn't be worrying about our punter. It's just too cheap of a position, in my opinion. Yeah, the Packers way overpaid for Josh Jacobs. He's getting that doesn't it means the running back market is bouncing back a little bit, and I'm happy for running backs. $12 million for Josh Jacobs, though, is a lot of money. Derrick Henry's still out there, too. Which of these signings was most exciting for you guys? I mean, I know Scott really liked that Geno Stone signing for obvious reasons, but or what surprised you the most? Which of these signings were you just like, I did not see that coming? For me, right now, like off the top of my head, that Gardner Minshew to the Raiders is really surprising me. I did not think he was going to leave Indianapolis, but he's going to go compete for a starting position. I'm happy for him. I'm happy he's kind of earned that back. How in the world does Cousins keep making these big signings from big tags in DC to Minnesota? Because he's good. Kelly, I think Kirk Cousins is better than he gets credit for. I don't know if you were here. I mentioned it at the beginning of the stream. I don't know if you were in here yet, but I think he was on pace to be the MVP this season if he hadn't have gotten hurt. He was putting up great numbers. Okay, is he better than Josh Allen, Mahomes, Burrow? No, but he is your standard. He is your standard like pocket passer quarterback who is going to help you. I think it's a great signing for Atlanta because they had Desmond Ridder and they had Taylor Heinicke, and then I forget who they even had before that, but they weren't getting it done. They weren't passing the ball to their very talented guys. I don't think top 5 all these years since 2012. Kelly, you're asking a lot of me here to defend Kirk Cousins top 5 all these years. Maybe not. Probably not. There's been a lot of talent in the NFL. But I do understand why teams want to pay Kirk Cousins. I think he's also a great locker room guy and a great guy that you can – he doesn't ask a lot for the team. He's not a drama guy, but teams respect him. He's a well-respected player. You're all good. You're all good, Kelly. No problem. No problem. It's just – I mean, think about everyone who's played in the NFL since 2012. You had Andrew Luck. Phillip Rivers is still out there. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. I mean – now we've got Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Jordan Love is up and coming. We've got a ton of guys that Kirk keeps getting put in this like category of like Andy Dalton, where like he's just there and he can win games, but he's never going to take you further than that. I think he's better than Andy Dalton. The Dalton line, Kirk Cousins is above the Dalton line. But Scott, my personal opinion on Mixon, I think he is very good. I think he plays one of the more replaceable positions in the NFL, though. I don't hate Joe Mixon, but for the contract that he's at, I like him. That's what I said. That's what I was saying. Baker, I don't know about that, Kelly. I don't know that he's Baker Mayfield. Maybe like if we see Tampa Bay Buccaneers Baker Mayfield last year and he consistently is that good, I think Kirk Cousins is a little bit better than Baker Mayfield. Kirk is 1-4 in the playoffs, not worth that big money. Giants drafting Blake Corum. Me. No, keep your hands off of him. The Bengals need Blake Corum. He's my. I think I've consistently drafted him in the 4th round on PFF. Andy Dalton didn't even do much though. Andy Dalton didn't win a playoff game. Kirk Cousins has won more playoff games than Andy Dalton. Giants. You got Devin Singletary, Sam. Joe Mixon's old. We have Chase Brown. The 49ers just signed Leonard Floyd, by the way. Some big time edge help for them. $35 million per. Of the available quarterbacks, who would you rather have in Atlanta? Kelly, if we're gonna have this debate. This is a fun debate, by the way. I'm not like mad at you. I don't have any like personal connections with Kirk Cousins. Would you rather Justin Fields? Yeah, like would you rather trade for Justin Fields than pay Kirk Cousins that money? Or would you have rather pay? I guess Russell Wilson, you're kind of getting those deals there, but I don't think they were ever interested in Russell Wilson. So I still think even with his contract, I'd still want Kirk Cousins. Because, I mean, they're not going to get a Burrow. They're not going to get Josh Allen, Mahomes. Probably not going to get, like, Jordan Love either. Giants getting rid of Saquon and signed the. Take a different running back, Sam. I want Blake Corum, which I haven't really looked at, to be honest with you. I haven't looked at a lot of the running back rookies. So there might be a guy I end up liking more. But the Bengals aren't really in that dire needs for running back this season, so I hadn't looked at a ton of them. But I have seen Blake Corum play a little bit. Kirk hasn't hardly played any playoff games. Okay, Justin Fields hasn't played any playoff games. Really, the only guy who has played any playoff games who was available was Russell Wilson. I mean, I don't know that I still think Kirk is better than Russell Wilson right now. Russell Wilson did not look good in Denver. Russell is a future Hall of Fame quarterback probably, but he hasn't been that good. And now, of course, he's going to throw for 500 yards both times they play the Bengals. But I don't think Kirk Cousins is as bad. Let me look at the stat. Maybe I'm. Yes, that was insane. And I'm big into weightlifting, and the amount that they were lifting with the endurance that they had was absolutely wild as well. I will say, though, Blake Corum, I believe, has shorter arms, which if you've done bench press, you know that helps a lot. Guys with longer arms like Joe Alt, who has bigger arms, have that bigger range of motion, right? So Blake Corum having those shorter arms, he has to travel less distance. So that probably helped him a little bit, but it's still an impressive feat nonetheless. Like that's a huge signing for whatever team gets him. I think he's going to be a strong guy. He's going to be maybe not Derrick Henry, but he's going to be able to knock a few people down. 4 playoff games in 12 years. Okay, but like his teams weren't that great, other than the Vikings. Maybe I guess I can see. I can understand the argument. I can understand why you wouldn't want to pay Kirk Cousins that much. I don't necessarily agree, but I can understand. Looking at his stats, I do think 2023 was a better season for him, or on pace to be on a better season for him. But I can understand where you guys are coming from. But Goff isn't a free. You'd have to trade for Goff. And Goff gets flustered really easily. Goff, you need to have a good O-line. I don't know how many of the Lions games you've watched, but as soon as he gets sacked, he kind of like freaks out. We saw that against the Bears a few times. Audric Estimate? Who is that, Sam? Is that a good signing? I don't know who that is. That didn't pop up. Are you? Oh, is that like I said? I haven't looked at the running backs. Is that a draft prospect? Yeah. Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying now. I'm on board with you. Notre Dame fighting Irish 902. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know who they're gonna go. I don't even know. I think they'd go running back this draft, but maybe not. We'll see what happens. I mean, with Goff, you'd be trading, and then you're probably reworking his contract. See, I don't think Fields is better than the Falcon. Let me see where the Falcons O line ranked. But I like the reason I like the Kirk Cousins signing is because with the way the Falcons weapons are set up, all you have to do is get them the ball. Like Drake London just needs the ball and he'll do work. Kyle Pitts just needs the ball. They weren't getting these guys the ball. We had, for whatever reason, Arthur Smith was having Jonnu Smith Kyle Pitts block for Jonnu Smith. Why are you doing that when you have I think a 5th overall tight end? That doesn't make sense to me. So I do think Fields is another guy who gets a lot of hate. He didn't really have a ton of weapons in Chicago at any point, but I do think Kirk Cousins is still better than him in Atlanta. I think other places, other offensive schemes, Justin Fields could be better, but I think the way that Atlanta's offense should be set up, I think they're going to be a run-heavy offense as well with Bijan there and Allgeier. But I think you go and get just your standard quarterback, and their job is to get the guy the ball. That's all I'm asking you is throw the ball to my playmaker. That's Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins can do that. But the NFC South is also a really easy division to get into the playoffs now, right now, as it stands. Because Panthers haven't shown anything. Buccaneers got in there on a 9-8 record, which was the same record the Bengals had, and they finished last in their division. Saints haven't really shown anything. They just cut a bunch of people. And then who's the final team in there? Panthers, Saints, Falcons. There's one more. Who am I forgetting? See, I can't even remember the 4th team. Oh, Buccaneers. I already talked about them. What are Bears doing? Hang on, Sam. Let me. They made some moves. They did sign off the top of my head DeAndre Swift to a 3-year deal. So the former Eagles and Lions running back DeAndre Swift is now a Chicago Bear. I can't find the offensive line rankings, but Fields is up in the air. He offers some stuff, but like I don't know that he'd work in Atlanta. And you have Raheem Morris is their head coach, defensive-minded head coach. You want a proven offensive quarterback, I think. That's what I'd want. And you have Zach Robbins as the offensive coordinator, and he's used to working with a guy like Matthew Stafford. So Matthew Stafford is also more of those guys who's just going to throw the ball. He's not going to run a whole lot, not going to do anything fancy, just get the ball to his playmakers. That's why I think it's a good signing for the Atlanta Falcons. Let me So, like I said, Sam, Bears have signed DeAndre Swift. I think that's the biggest signing they've made so far. Let's hop on their free agency tracker. Mm-hmm. Oh, these are all rumors. I don't want to report on rumors. I mean, you guys extended Jalen Johnson. That's big. You signed Kevin Byard yesterday to a 2-year deal, $15 million. That's the thing, Sam. I don't know, and I mentioned this earlier in the stream. I wanted Justin Fields to be decided first because I felt like if we knew he was going somewhere, then we could say, okay, so let me finish this, and then this is weird. Anyway, I wanted Justin Fields to go to whether it was the Steelers or the Falcons first, because then we could say, okay, this team is going to draft Caleb Williams. This team is probably going to go after this guy now, but instead it's been like the exact opposite of what I wanted to happen. Russell Wilson is announcing his thing at midnight for some reason, and I had to make a video about that at like 1 a.m. Thanks a lot. And then we've got Kirk Cousins getting signed to the Falcons. I don't know who would want Justin Fields now. Everyone who was connected with Justin Fields has now been figured out. So is Justin Fields going to Minnesota now? Are they going to trade him within their division? I don't think so. I don't know why they do that. But crazier things have happened. The thing I was kind of figuring out was Will Lutz, who had agreed to terms with Jacksonville, has now changed his mind and is now remaining in Denver. So the Jaguars need a kicker now. They had one, but now he is staying in Denver. Maybe a draft day trade. If we go on a quarterback run, which is a possibility. I've seen Drake May, Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, and Jaden Daniels all mocked to the top 10. So maybe if one of those teams that was expecting like Jaden Williams or Jaden Daniels and Drake May to fall, maybe they make a trade on draft day if those guys don't fall. I'm not a big Caleb Williams guy. I didn't think that Trevor Lawrence was going to be as phenomenal as he was. Ooh, okay. Ooh. Cheeto. Okay, hang on. I didn't think Trevor Lawrence was going to be as amazing as he was. I think he's good, but I don't think he's that generational prospect. And same thing with Caleb Williams. I don't think he is going to end up being as good as everyone wants him to be. So we do have some Bengals news, Scott. Titans are expected to sign former Bengals cornerback Chidobe Awuzie per Jeremy Fowler. Will be a 3-year deal for one of the more underrated DBs in the league. Cheeto is a guy I really like. I'm happy for him. That's a good signing in my opinion. We also have 3 things that just came through. Defensive tackle Justin Jones has agreed to terms with the Arizona Cardinals per source, 3 years, $30.1 million, $19.75 guaranteed. So that's another defensive tackle signing. Kelly, they play completely different. Okay. Let me break the news first, Kelly, and then we'll but this is another big defensive tackle signing that over half of the contract is guaranteed. That doesn't bode well for the Bengals if they're going after a defensive tackle in free agency. So, and also, hey, Kelly, here's some big news for you, though. Teron Armstead, left tackle for the Dolphins. They've agreed to a deal. I don't have the details yet, but he will be back in Miami. So, Kelly, your Dolphins are doing something other than just losing people. Trevor Lawrence doesn't play the same as Kirk Cousins. Trevor Lawrence moves. Trevor Lawrence has those long legs that he glides across the field. I think most of his issues are either injury related or turnover related. I don't think Kirk Cousins has that problem. He might now that he's older, though. We'll see. Chidobe Awuzie to the Titans. So Brian Callahan, former offensive coordinator for the Bengals, bringing in a former Bengal to his defense. So I kind of expected Cheeto to go, though. I really like Cheeto, but with that injury, I didn't want to bet on him bouncing back this season. Defensive line, Greg Gaines back with the Bucks. Greg Gaines is back with the Bucks, $3.5 million. Yep, we already said that. Cousins shouldn't be. Why do you guys hate Kirk Cousins? So I'm gonna get Kirk Cousins on the show, and I'd love to have Kirk Cousins on the show, but I'm just gonna make him listen to you guys and your comments about Kirk Cousins. I think he's way better than people give him credit for. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss when that eventually happens. There we go. I'm getting some laughing emojis. That's what we like to see. Kelly, I want to make sure you heard this because I know you're a Dolphins fan. Terron Armstead, left tackle. You guys got him back. So good signing for you guys. I know he was someone the Bengals were going after a few years ago before they got Orlando Brown Jr. So Scott Cheeto's gone as well now. Do we go after a cornerback? What do you think? Do you trust DJ Turner to start? Because that's really the situation you're in now. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Cousins shouldn't be in the same sentence. They're two different players. It's like you're comparing apples to oranges there. That's like comparing – in my mind, that's like comparing Justin Fields to Kirk Cousins, which is Kirk Cousins is much better on shows than he is on the field. There might be an argument for that. That could be I could see that argument. But he's a good team guy. I expect either this year or next year. Not this year. Next year or the year after, for the Falcons to draft a quarterback for Kirk Cousins to mentor. That was the thing is, Scott. DJ Turner. I was thinking DJ Reader. Yeah, I think DJ Turner has a lot of potential. I like that pick. A lot of people are already calling him a bust, but every time that they call him a bust, they talk about the Minnesota game when he was one-on-one with Justin Jefferson for some reason. I don't think he should be one-on-one with Justin Jefferson. I don't think anyone should be one-on-one with Justin Jefferson, but especially not a rookie. Let's maybe get some depth, but I think there's a chance. Well, yeah, Kelly, I'm looking for the numbers here, but Ian Rappaport hasn't posted them yet. He's the one who broke that. His tweet says Terron Armstead is expected to return for the 2024 season, and he and the team are working to finalize an adjusted contract. And then he just quote tweeted that and said, the deal is now agreed to and done. He's back. So he's definitely back. The numbers haven't been released yet, though. So we lose Cheeto, but gain Geno. Yeah, you guys think the Dolphins will draft a tackle either second or third round now that Armstead's back? I mean, you have like we talked about, you have a ton of defensive holes as well that you need to fill, so that's difficult. I kind of like looking at the other teams. I'm kind of happy with where the Bengals are at. there's like an anti-Kirk Cousins. I didn't realize that the subscriber base was so anti-Kirk Cousins. But Volson is what I expected Volson to be. DJ is that second round pick, and so that's why a lot of people were kind of upset with where he ended up performing. But I think he's got potential. He's gonna need safety help though. Got some news here. Ooh. Barring a complete breakdown, and let's get this name right here. Giants fans, where you at? We had one in here earlier, or he was a Jets fan. Barring a complete breakdown in trade talks, the Giants will indeed trade for Panthers star pass rusher Brian Burns per Sheena Quick, who is a beat reporter for the Panthers. That's a big move for the Giants if it gets done. I'll be interested to see what the compensation is for that. That's a big move. That's true, Kelly. You guys are going to get a ton of comp picks likely, but Bengals got screwed, I think, on one of our comp picks with Bates and Bell, but that's for a different video. But this Brian Burns trade, if that goes through, that's going to be big for New York, the New York Giants. They needed their defense was their strong suit last year, and adding Brian Burns would be big. I'll be interested to see what. There are no Giants fans. There are some. I've met them, but yeah, Brian Burns was reportedly at one point wanting $30 million a year. So I'll be interested to see if he ends up getting that. I'm also interested to see what the Panthers are willing to take for him. That'll be. He's a kind of an up and coming pass rusher, not huge, but definitely very talented. A guy who I'd like to have on the team for the right price. And New York's kind of rebuilding. New York, it'll be interesting to see what they do with what's his name? Daniel Jones. Now, Daniel Jones is a guy I'd give up on. Daniel Jones is an overpaid quarterback. Not Kirk Cousins, Daniel Jones. He's paid way too much money. And are they out on him? I can't think of one Giants fan. There's got to be like a celebrity. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what you guys do in free agency and how that offsets, though. Because it's all kind of estimated and there's a formula. Harry Potter is a New York Giants fan. Daniel Radcliffe. There you go. LL Cool J. Hugh Jackman, the Wolverine, is a Giants fan. Busta Rhymes, Spike Lee. They have a whole website dedicated to this, okay? Lady Gaga. Tracy Morgan. I don't know who some of these people are. 50 Cent. George R.R. Martin. You like Game of Thrones? The author? He likes the New York Giants. Harry Potter, like I said. Kate Mara. Lano. Jordan Sparks. The Jonas Brothers. Scott. They have some fans. Bon Jovi. Tom Cruise. There you go. There's some, Scott. There is some celebrities that like the Giants. Ooh, tight end Will Dissly to the Chargers. So that's another tight end off the list. Not a huge signing, but definitely someone a lot of teams would like to have. So Will Dissly to the Chargers. Per Jeremy Fowler. Noah Fant's still out there, too. I wonder what Noah Fant is asking for. He's someone that's been connected to the Bengals a little bit. I'd be interested to see if the Colts are in the wide receiver market, what they end up doing with Alec Pierce. Yeah, don't forget the Jonas Brothers. No, the Jonas Brothers. Jonas Brothers are Giants fans. Someone's gonna be watching this back and just be like super confused why we spent 10 minutes talking about celebrities who are Giants fans. That's part of it. Kind of hoping. I want this thing to drop about the Panthers. What's my take on Herbert? I thought he was overrated, but now I think he's getting to where he should be. I think he's a very good quarterback, Josh Allen type. I like his size, but same thing with him as I critiqued with Josh Allen. He needs to run less, which I understand why he ran as much as he did. But I think Justin Herbert is a very good quarterback, and I'm excited to see better than Cousins. I could get behind that. I could get behind putting Justin Herbert above Kirk Cousins. I'd be fine with that. I'm excited to see what Jim Harbaugh is able to do with Justin Herbert as well. Keenan Allen is a guy who I think is very underrated as well. So I'm excited to see what Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert kind of are able to do with Jim Harbaugh as their head coach now. At this time. Yeah, no. And they're underrated receivers as well. They're not guys that people talk about a lot. I think Keenan Allen is going to get what is this? Okay. I think Keenan Allen isn't going to make the Hall of Fame, but I think he is someone who people are going to argue for to make the Hall of Fame. And if he had a Super Bowl win, he would make the Hall of Fame. But he currently doesn't have a Super Bowl win. And people put a lot of weight into that, probably more than necessary. I understand why winning the Super Bowl helps you, but there are guys. I've heard people say if you don't win a Super Bowl, you shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think people realize who's in the Hall of Fame that hasn't won a Super Bowl. Off the top of my head, Randy Moss. So Commanders are making a move. Commanders signed former Panthers linebacker Frankie Laveau to a 3-year contract worth a maximum of $36 million per Adam Schefter. Carolina wanted him back but couldn't close the gap. So Commanders are working on that defense. They hired that new GM, and he said he was going to be making moves, and he has been. Yeah, he is getting paid. That's $12 million a year to a linebacker. That is good money for a linebacker. Big money moves for a linebacker. But I think, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on that with the Hall of Fame? Should you have to win a Super Bowl to go into the Hall of Fame? Because then even you have to, looking back at before the Super Bowl, then you could be like, okay, those guys didn't have a Super Bowl to win. But I'm with you, Kelly. I don't think you should have to win a Super Bowl. I mean, J.J. Watt never won a Super Bowl. Are you keeping him out of the Hall of Fame? Phillip Rivers, maybe. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but people make that argument. Should he be a Hall of Famer? Maybe. Scott, I'm not going to say that Kirk Cousins is better than Joe Burrow. I just said Kirk Cousins was underrated. I wasn't saying that he is better than Joe Burrow. I said that you're not going to get a guy like Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen in free agency. So of the guys available, especially this year in free agency, Kirk Cousins is probably one of the better options. The past 20 years will be nothing but Patriots Chiefs. Yeah, if you had to win a Super Bowl, yeah, that's true. With like random Steelers and Packers players thrown in there. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. You're keeping DeAndre Hopkins out, keeping J.J. Watt out. Jason Kelce won a Super Bowl, so he'd be in. But there are a lot of like I said, Randy Moss never won a Super Bowl, so Randy Moss would be out in that situation. It's just not a good argument, in my opinion. Looks like the Bengals are still. The Bills are bringing back defensive end AJ Epinesa on a 2-year deal, according to Mike Vierafolo. So there's another signing, another defensive player off the board. Bills are bringing him back to Buffalo. So Bengals tweeted a picture of a stone. So we know that's official. Titans, Lions, and Bengals are among teams showing interest in defensive tackle DJ Reader. Per source, that was Justina Anderson. So Bengals are still in on DJ Reader, but so are the Lions and the Titans. And if the Titans get him, that would be 2 defensive players from the Bengals that the Titans have signed. Definitely understand why the Lions are in on him as well. I'll be interested to see what we get him for if we get him back. I don't know. So, Kelly, here's the thing. I think they should be putting in a little bit more than I don't think there should be a set number. That is my thing with the NFL Hall of Fame. And the reason I think that is because then you end up having guys. We saw it this year, right? We saw it with Antonio Gates. Antonio Gates didn't make it into the Hall of Fame this year on his first ballot. That's wild to me that Antonio Gates isn't considered a Hall of Famer. Other guys who are probably eventually going to get in, and that's true, Scott. Stan the Jet fan pointed this out to me a while back that like a lot of the teams that get their guys in are the bigger markets. So it's kind of like the how can we get the most people to come visit the Hall of Fame? And obviously you have your guys like JJ Watt, who it's like, okay, you have to put them in. But Antonio Gates not getting in is wild to me. Willie Anderson's been waiting for like 12 years, and he went like 3 seasons without allowing a sack from the right tackle position. He's had Bill Cowher come out. Bill Cowher has come out and said that Willie Anderson should be in the Hall of Fame. And Bill Cowher was a Steelers coach, and he's advocating for a Bengals player. Michael Strahan has came out and said that. So many people have come out and said Willie Anderson should be in the Hall of Fame. No, I'm Scott. I've got a whole video arguing for Willie Anderson to be in the Hall of Fame on this channel, so you can go check that out. But Willie Anderson should be in. Reggie Wayne, I think, should be in. There are guys that, and then there are years where it's like, why is this guy getting let in, right? Is this just to fill in? Is this just to fill in a guy? What are we doing here, right? And Willie still doesn't get in those years somehow. Kirk ain't making. Did I at any point say Kirk Cousins was a Hall of Fame level quarterback? No, I did not. I did not say Kirk Cousins is a Hall of Fame level quarterback. I don't know if Joe Burrow is a Hall of Fame quarterback at this point. The only active quarterbacks I'd say are definitely Hall of Fame are Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes. Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame. Matthew Stafford, Hall of Fame. Patrick Mahomes, Hall of Fame. Those are the only 3. I appreciate that, Scott. That compliment means more to me than you know, because I'm just right now I'm just one guy here trying to talk sports. I want to do this full time, but I kind of got to work around my work schedule as well. But I appreciate that. If you could subscribe as well, that would really help us out. But I appreciate that comment more than you know, man. Flacco is a weird one. I'd rather have Flacco than Kirk. Why do you guys hate? Really? Really? Are you just saying that? Do you really believe that? You're just trying. I think you're just trying to get on my skin. Scott, you hit me with that nice comment, and then you just come back with, "I'd rather have Flacco than Kirk." I don't know that Flacco is a Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't. He has a Super Bowl, but I don't think he is. I think if Flacco gets in, you have to put Phillip Rivers in. I mean, the fact that we're in a situation where Eli Manning is still a question mark and he has 2 Super Bowl rings? I don't know, Kelly. How many Pro Bowls does Joe Flacco have? And that's not even gonna be a good standard anymore. In a while, like Ryan Flacco was a first round pick into later in the Flacco has 0 Pro Bowls, according to this article from Sports Illustrated. Yeah, I'm on to you, Scott. I know what you're doing, but Flacco, he was okay. I mean, obviously he was a franchise guy for a long time, but if you put Flacco in, I think you have to put Philip Rivers in, and the Hall of Fame should be much bigger than that. And I like Philip Rivers. Ooh, we got another signing. Former Patriots linebacker Mack Wilson has agreed to terms on a 3-year, $12.75 million deal worth up to $15 million. So, with who? You didn't say with who. Is he going back to the Patriots? No, okay. Everyone else is confused too. Everyone's commenting on this with who. Tom Pelissero. Here, I'll show you guys the. Oh, the tweet got deleted. I can't show you. But Tom Pelissero commented underneath it, #mystery team. Joe Flacco gets paid like he's a Pro Bowler. Joe Flacco was a practice squad guy. He was Joe Flacco wasn't getting. Are you talking about Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins has made a Pro Bowl. I remember watching Kirk Cousins in the Pro Bowl. Kirk Cousins has made 3 Pro Bowls. Joe Flacco has made no Pro Bowls. Arizona Cardinals. Okay, linebacker Mack Wilson has agreed to a deal with the Arizona Cardinals on a 3-year, $12.75 million deal worth up to $15 million. Kirk gets paid like he is 160. But the way the quarterback market is, what was he making? I got to pull that announcement back up. Was he making $45 million? Burrow makes about $50 million. The way the quarterback market is, within 2 years, that's going to be a steal. I mean, we're hearing reports that Tua and Dak and Jordan Love are going to get paid more than Joe Burrow, who's already getting paid more than Josh Allen. So paying them a lot of money now, that might be right in just a year or two. I wouldn't mind a new linebacker on the Bengals one. No, Scott, I'm with you. I really wanted Drew Tranquill, who he just got extended by the Chiefs, but Drew Tranquill's from my hometown. We went to the same high school. I really wanted him to come to the Bengals. I thought he would have been great, but that is not the case. I tweeted him a bunch trying to get him to sign with the Bengals. So 180 mil divided by 4, 50 million signing bonus, but that signing bonus doesn't go against the cap. So, quick maths. 45. So $45 million a year. So now, okay, Kelly, you're paying Tua more than Kirk Cousins? Do you think Tua is worth Joe Burrow money? Do you think Jordan Love is worth Joe Burrow money? Kirk really isn't asking that much compared to the market. He's actually getting paid less than a lot of these other guys who, like Dak, is probably going to. I've seen Dak getting predicted or projected his contract's going to be $60 million. That's insane. And Dak hasn't done anything. Jordan Love hasn't really done anything, but they need to pay him already. So it's really not a bad deal, in my opinion, for Kirk Cousins. I think it's a better deal than people. Kirk should be 35. Then what do you put Tua at? Just curious. What would you want to pay Tua? See, I would switch those. I would pay Kirk 35, or I would pay Kirk 40. Probably pay Dak 40 as well, and then I'd pay Tua 35. Browns are re-signing Zadarius Smith. Now we definitely need an O-line. 2-year deal worth $23.5 million base. Source said up to $25 million. $12 million base in year 1. So Zadarius Smith is going to be lining up opposite of Myles Garrett again for the next 2 years. So good move by Cleveland. I think Logan Wilson was being asked to do a lot last year because of the safeties. I think in the corners, Logan Wilson was all over the field like we're used to, but there was a point last year where it was just becoming too much. I mean, you can't have your line. He was playing side to side. I don't think Logan Wilson took a step back. I think he just got exhausted, both mentally and physically, because like you can do that for maybe two games, but he was having to play corner. He was having to play especially after Cam Taylor-Britt got hurt. He was basically playing corner. He was having to play linebacker, which is his position. And then Nick Scott, who was supposed to be the guy most of the time helping out DJ Turner, he wasn't tackling. So then Logan Wilson had to chase these guys down, and he just can't do that. You can't do that all the game. It just doesn't work. I think Logan Wilson, if he gets some help, he'll be fine. Otherwise, he's just going to be exhausted. Same with Pratt. Pratt was having to do the same thing. That's what I said. I'm glad. Well, I'm not glad Joe got hurt, but I'm glad if Joe was going to get hurt, it was last season, because it gave time for these guys to come together and figure it out. Because he was playing, he wasn't around the ball all the time, but that's because they had to. He was chasing the ball. They were just throwing to where he wasn't, pretty much, right? I mean, if you really only have one defender, I mean, they're not going to leave the middle of the field open. You can't leave the middle of the field open. But if Logan Wilson is more to the right, then they're going to throw to the left, and he's having to chase the ball the entire time. I think after a while, he just mentally and physically fell apart. He'll bounce back. I got a fellas. Good chatting. Good to see you, Kelly. Good talk. Can't believe it's already been almost 3 hours. Fins up. Well, you got Teron Armstead. 2 year, 22. Let's see here. What do we think, guys? We're getting near the end of the day here. Any other big signings? Ari Mirov said over 80 players have already agreed to terms today. Here's the updated free agency tracker. So got some big signings already. See you, Finn. Yeah, make sure to subscribe, guys. I'm hoping Chuss will be able to hop on later tonight, and we'll record a show. That way you guys can watch that. We can get his view. Maybe we'll go live for that, depending what we're feeling like. Ooh. Kelly, are you still here? You guys just did a thing. Dolphins are signing former Browns linebacker Anthony Walker to a 1-year deal, according to Adam Schefter. So that's a big signing. Get some depth there. Get that very big position, especially because the defense doesn't have anyone right now in Miami. Oh, well, she'll see it somewhere else, I'm sure. Awalk is injury prone. Yeah, if he stays healthy, there's people saying in the comments here saying that if he just stays healthy, he'll be good. He'll be good to go. That's why I said he's kind of a depth piece, because I don't know that you necessarily trust him to start. But in Miami, they don't have a ton of guys. So Scott, this is the first time um this is the first time I've ever gone live. We're kind of switching towards a live show. Uh I I want to do more live. Like I said, I'm working around my work schedule, so I don't have a specific time set. Um I will try to post on the Instagram when we're going. You're fine. I love the newbies. The newbies are great. Um but we do a full show about once a week. I have to work around both my schedule. I have a full-time job, and then Chus is still in college, so we have to work around his job and college. So we can't be consistent as I'd like. But if you subscribe, it'll notify you, and then I will also put the Instagram here for the channel. That's when, excuse me, uh, it's no buts underscore show. There we go. That's where I'll post when we're going live. Yeah, no, this is my first time going live. If you look, we have full show, and you can find the full shows. I upload those to Spotify. We do that on YouTube and anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you look up No Buts About It, it should be the same logo, and you can sub there wherever is best for you. I try to get as much access to that. And me and Chas and Stan, sometimes we bring on other guys. We brought on Joe Camo from the Cardinal Rule. He's been helping us out a bit. He talks about the Arizona Cardinals. Dose of Dion. Sweet. I've got the notifications turned on. Yeah, I'll try to go live again tomorrow. I don't know what time that'll be because again I have to work around some stuff. But Dose of Dion, he comes on a lot, and we just have a fun time. A lot of it's just this. I don't script hardly anything. I'll update Chus on some news stuff, but we just talk. We just have a good time, and sometimes we get off topic. But if you like this, I think you'll like the show as well. Tell your friends. Share it, because we're trying to do this full time so that we can set those specific times that we're on. But yeah, I appreciate all the compliments. You have been great. I have enjoyed this. We'll see what I'm trying to figure out if Chus is going to get on today or not. But I appreciate all the subscriptions. Share with your friends. Comment. It's always a great time. It's more fun when people comment, right? Otherwise, it's just me talking, and I get tired of hearing my own voice. Let's see any other sources. Check everything. And I'm probably gonna make some videos about some of this stuff either tonight or tomorrow as well. Just to keep people updated, because some people don't like the live streams, or they're at work and they can't watch the live streams. And this one's going to be 3 hours plus. So a lot of people might not end up viewing it, but they might still want the breakdown. So I'll make that as well for those people. I try to give as much people access as I can. If all we get today is, dude, Geno Stone is a great signing. I mean, I think it's just you and me right now here. But Geno Stone, oh man, that signing made me so happy. Great, yeah, great signing for the team. And even if at the very least it takes him from the Ravens, that's the thing. Like, not only did we get a guy, we took someone else away from a division rival. That's huge. I'm interested to see. I don't know if you are on Twitter, but Joe Goodberry, he's got some good content on Twitter as well. One of my favorite sources. Yeah, just what Mr. Yeah, that he's going to help him and Jordan Battle. gonna be beautiful. That's gonna be beautiful. Someone else just joined. Hey, I don't know who you are, but thanks for joining. I'm happy to have you. Make sure to comment. Let me know what you think about today's signings. Oh, Lawan's back. Ah, sweet. Did you talk about Minshew yet? I'm curious if you think he's the guy. We did talk about Minshew. That I'm happy for him. Do I think he's the guy? I don't know if he's the franchise. Like, I think he'll start over Aiden O'Connell. I'll say that. I think he's better than Aiden O'Connell. I was shocked that the Colts let him go, even though he'd just be a backup there. But I think that he'll win the starting position. I don't know that he's a franchise guy, but he's definitely someone who can keep it afloat. I don't know what the Vegas Raiders are doing though. Good, Scott. Yeah, Joe Goodberry has some great content. He's a great guy. I've talked to him through the internet, but he's been super nice every time I've talked to him in DMs. But Minshew, so the Raiders lost Josh Jacobs. They have Devontae Adams still, and they signed Christian Wilkins. I don't know what the Raiders view themselves as. I don't think they view themselves as a playoff competitor right now. So Minshew is kind of a bridge guy. So I think for what the Raiders want him to be, Minshew will do that. I don't think he's going to take them to the playoffs, though, if that's what you mean. Hey, Lawan, I know you were here earlier, but make sure you subscribe. It's been great talking with you. Love to see you in the comment section so we can continue some of these discussions. Let's see what else we've got out there. Sweet, Lawan. I'm glad to see you've been subscribed. Just wanted to make sure. I like seeing familiar faces in the comment section. It's more fun to discuss that way, right? Kind of a friends through the internet type thing. And like I was telling Scott earlier, we haven't been doing the lives, and if you've been subscribed for a while, you know that. But I'm going to try to start doing it more often because I do enjoy it. I enjoy talking. This is our first live stream, but you can find the full podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. Spotify, No Butts About It, everywhere. So make sure you look us up. The Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I think Amazon has a podcast thing too. But I just like talking football with you guys. It's fun. We bring on a lot of very, very smart YouTubers as well to talk about their teams. The new crazy kickoff. Yeah. And then the NFL did that to justify player safety. And then they did something. What did they do around that same time that was like the 18 games. It was like new kickoff rule to help player safety. And then they're like, we're going to extend to 18 games, which contradicts each other. The only way I'd like the kickoffs to be changed is if it brings returns back into the game and also helps because returns are important because it not only is more fun to watch. Everyone likes a good punt return, kick return every so often, but there's a lot of fringe players that only make NFL rosters because of kickoff coverage, right? You want your special teamers. Yeah, if you get kicking back into the game, that's the thing. At least the reports I read were kind of a if maybe type thing. They didn't want guys getting tackled as much or something. I don't know. It was stupid. The report I read was dumb, but if there's a rule change, I would like it to get kicking back in the game and kick returns. Maybe you're talking about a different rule change, different report than what I saw. The The Lions have agreed to terms with defensive end Marcus Davenport on a one-year deal. Sources tell Mike Garafolo and Ian Rappaport following a year with the Vikings, the former first-round pick with the Saints moves to the Lions. Okay. So Vikings will lose another defensive piece. Okay, Scott. Yeah, then you're talking about something different than I was, because what I was talking about was going to limit returns somehow. But yeah, if they're doing something to bring back returns to the NFL, and we see that more often, I definitely like that. I love that, for the reasons that I outlined before. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be, yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. Then that's a good rule. I think I'd need to see the nuances of it, but what you're based on what you're lining up is good. I like that rule. Like I said, the Lions have agreed to terms with defensive end Marcus Davenport, so the Lions are getting that pass rush to help Aiden Hutchinson um, in Detroit. He's back with Aaron Glenn. The Vikings have lost quite a few players too. We were talking about the Dolphins having that problem, but now the Vikings, they still don't have Danielle Hunter. Yeah, Scott, I will look into that when we get to round probably July. When there's really nothing. Most of the big free agents are signing, stuff like that. We're going to be putting out a lot of stuff like that, I think, and then we'll also be putting out some videos about like just talking about some of the inspirational stories in the NFL, because I think there's a lot of guys who have really cool stories that don't necessarily get shared a lot. And so I want to put out some of those. So, but that kickoff rule is going to be interesting. We're gonna have to look into that more. I think I need to look into it more. The Lions are going to be in the Lions are going to be interesting. Yes, the Lions are going to be interesting. Their defense was struggling last year, but their offense still got them pretty far. But I liked what Dan Campbell said. We have a video on here defending Dan Campbell as well on his decision to go for it. I really like Dan Campbell, and I want to see him win a Super Bowl, but I want to see the Bengals win a Super Bowl first, right? So I'd be very happy for Detroit. Detroit fans have been great to us on the show. One of my favorite fan bases to interact with. So I'd be super happy to see them win a Super Bowl, and I'm glad that they're making some moves to improve their defense, because that was really where they struggled last year, was defense. I mean, I'm interested to see where Danielle Hunter goes at this point. Because let's see here. Okay, so all the top 5 guys have been assigned a team except for Danielle Hunter. He's number 5. And you got to go down to 15 to get another guy, and that's Michael Onwenu, the offensive lineman from the Patriots that we talked about, who he can play a couple different roles. He's someone the Bengals might be after. Yeah, they both deserve. And I thought a lot of people were mad about the comment, but Dan Campbell was exactly right about the NFC Championship, saying like we might not get back here. Like, he's not wrong. People were saying, "Oh, you don't believe in your team." No, it's not that. It is hard to make it to the NFC Championship or the AFC Championship. The fact that the Bengals did it 2 years in a row, that's amazing. The fact that the Chiefs have won the Super Bowl 2 times in a row, that's phenomenal. It's not easy to make these games. Like, there's so much that can happen, like so many variables with injury. just like losing on weird things. Like the Lions lost that Cowboys game on in a weird way. Um, there's just so many variables at play that it is not easy to make it back to those championship games. And so I don't think Dan Campbell was saying he doesn't believe in his team. I think he was saying, guys, this is hard, and the fact that we even made it here is amazing. I liked it. I thought it was a good point. But yeah, Bengals first, then the Lions. Big cat teams. I'm gonna have to clip that Geno Stone reaction at some point. Okay, that was Aaron Jones is now out there too. Let's not forget that, right? Um, Derrick Henry's out there. Aaron Jones. We got some big names that are still not signed. And really, none of these guys, none of this becomes official until Wednesday. But most of these guys will say we'll go where they're saying. Do the Bengals trade? So I think so. Like I love T, but if your options are okay, let's say the report that he is requesting the trade is true, then yes, you definitely trade him because you don't want a disgruntled player, unless you can find money to extend him somewhere, which apparently you can't so far. But you don't want a disgruntled player on your team, first of all. I think he'd show up to camp. I don't think he would hold out or anything like that, but he might be a little annoyed. But even if he plays on the tag, then he's walking next year. He becomes a free agent. You don't get anything for him at that point. And the only way that becomes like okay, I guess like you're okay with that is if you win the Super Bowl. If the Bengals tag T plays, and then the Bengals win the Super Bowl, and then T walks, okay, fine. You can do whatever you want after that. But we just talked about how hard it is to make it back to that game. So I think you trade T Higgins because you're statistically speaking, it's very unlikely you make the Super Bowl. You're at least getting something for him. He's gonna be happier. You don't want that disgruntled player on your team, but I think you get some good compensation for him. I don't think you just Bengals don't always roll that way. That's true, but they're also not. There was that number that I mentioned at the beginning, and I'm not gonna say it. Joe Goodberry was the guy who threw the number out there. He put it up for his subscribers, and that's why I don't want to share it because it's for his subscribers, and I don't want to share his information without his permission. But if you're subscribed to Joe Goodberry, which you said you listen to him every day, you probably know what number I'm talking about. And that is a huge number, a giant number that the Bengals should not pay T. Higgins in guarantees. He just shouldn't. It's a ridiculous ask by David Mulgeta. So I'd trade him if that's the case. If those are the two options. I don't think they'd get a first for him. I would say early second, maybe. But I don't think they'll get a first for him with this wide receiver class. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Here's Lamar Jackson's reaction to the Geno Stone signing. I'm guessing he's joking, but this is kind of a funny post here. You're dead to us. You're dead to me. Great signing by the Bengals there, Geno Stone. I'm really hoping he pans out. I really like that move. I don't think we get a late first for him though. I maybe the equivalent of that, like through like a third and a fifth or something like that. But I don't think you get a late first for him. Um, it maybe I'd love to get a late first for him. I just don't think that's gonna happen. Especially now that teams know that he wants a trade. The Chargers re-signed safety Eli Gilman per Kenny Zuckerman, his agent. So not a huge signing, but I'll mention it. If the Bengals get a late round or a late first for T. Higgins, Duke Tobin needs to be GM of the year, especially with this wide receiver class. Because I think any team that is going to draft or is going to trade for T. Higgins in the late round, you're going to just draft a wide receiver with that pick. I would think maybe not. I don't know. It'll also be interesting to see how the draft kind of falls. I mean, we haven't talked a whole ton about the draft on the channel because you don't know, right? You don't know what your team's going to do in free agency. Ooh, Lions making some more big moves. Well, let me finish my thought. You don't know what your team needs. Like yesterday, I would have told you the Lions or the Bengals need to get a safety in the third round, probably. But now that they've signed Geno Stone, you don't really need that as much. Same thing with defensive interior. I don't know what they're going to do here. Wide receiver. So it's hard to see what teams need in the draft before free agency, right? Like the Falcons went from needing a quarterback to not needing a quarterback. And Minnesota went from not really probably needing a quarterback to now really needing a quarterback. But big move. Tom Pelissero is reporting that the Lions are acquiring quarterback Carlton Davis from the Bucks per source. So that is another big move from the Lions to stack up that defensive back position that they need. So, oh man, they needed that bad. That would have helped them in the playoffs. That is a big move. Carlton Davis is a good player as well. I'm interested to see what the Lions ended up trading for him though. That it wasn't in the tweet. I like that. I like that Lamar Jackson reaction as well though. I think he was joking, but yeah, Jeremy Fowler said that the Chargers re-signing safety Eli Gilman, like I said, deal is for $11 million over 2 per source. So that is a great deal. He became a starter last year, and he kind of took over that role. Did well. That defense and offense did struggle last year, though, for the Chargers. So I really want to know what the Lions had to trade to get Carlton Davis. That's I'd like to know where Danielle Hunter's going, and I'd like to know where Mike Onwenu is going before we end this live. But I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I'd also like to know what the Lions just paid for Carlton Davis. Then, like I said, I'll probably take a little bit of a break and then see if Chus can join us. We'll record and put a full. I don't know what we'll do. We'll do something. What is if Dion got the information? I'm looking. I'm looking for you, Scott. Looking to get you informed here. You stuck by me all stream. Can't find it. Can't find it. They're hiding this information from us. Gotta. I can't imagine they got him for cheap, right? The Buccaneers aren't gonna just let Carlton Davis go. I wouldn't think. But it's just kind of. I mean, is it like the Mac Jones trade where they don't really even know? They just know that they're trading him? Because Mac Jones, they just kept a sixth round pick as a placeholder, and they just know that it's going to be a late round pick. Yeah, but the Bengals are also in on them too. Bengals are also looking at DJ Reader and the Titans, like I mentioned before. So Titans got Cheeto, but they are also looking at DJ Reader as well. Lions were in there, Giants, Titans. A lot of people are going to be calling about these defensive tackles though, because everything is so expensive with them. They're especially after that Christian Wilkins signing. This Carlton Davis trade is annoying me. Can you explain the thing you said about Matt? Yeah, so Lawan, yesterday, Mac Jones got traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it it just said a late round pick, and then Adam Schefter said a sixth. But the trade doesn't go through until Wednesday, when free agency like officially opens. This is just the tampering period where people can agree to stuff. So the Jaguars and the Patriots agreed to a late round pick for Mac Jones, and they just put it as a sixth round pick. So that might be a fifth, it might be a seventh, it might be some combination. It's very likely that it's a sixth round pick if that's the thing they put as the placeholder, but it could be something else. So if you see a report in like 2 days that says Mac Jones got traded for a seventh rounder, that's not contradicting what Adam Schefter said. That just means that's what they actually came to an agreement with. Yeah, okay, Scott. Yeah, that's the same report that I saw too then as well. But the Bengals are also still in on him per that same report, I believe. Yeah, no problem, Lowan. That was a bit confusing to me at first as well, when that came out, because they went from I was trying to figure out the compensation. What about Kendall Fuller, Scott? I mean, Bengals are apparently interested in him from the Commanders. And now that Cheeto's gone, maybe they go in free agency with a cornerback. He's 19th on this list, 29 years old. Is he a guy you go and sign? Okay, I missed this. I missed this somehow, but Colts. This is another defensive tackle. Colts keeping more of their own. They are re-signing Grover Stewart, who is someone who I said the Bengals, the Bengals might go after. 3-year, $39 million deal per source. So that actually does help the Bengals out though a little bit because that is a much cheaper deal than what we've been seeing defensive tackles get paid. Um, yeah, 3-year, 39 million. So that's a decent deal for the type of defensive tackle that I would expect them to go after. That's 13 million a year. 29 is, yeah, that's kind of on that cusp for what the Bengals like to pay age-wise to cornerbacks. Kendall Fuller, though, if he wants to come for a deal, maybe he's tired of losing with the Commanders. He comes over to Cincinnati to win. Could definitely be something. We could see that get going. But now that Grover Stewart's 13 million a year, that could help. That could help Bengals get DJ Reader back. I kind of like that small signing. Uh, Adam Schefter just tweeted 49ers have tendered a 1-year contract to restricted free agent wide receiver Jawan Jennings. So they'll be bringing him back. Oh, and we finally have the Carlton Davis trade. Finally. Got it. Took us long enough. Lions receive Carlton Davis, the Buccaneers 6th-round pick, and a 2025 6th-round pick. The Buccaneers will receive the Lions 3rd-round pick. So maybe get some depth pieces with that. Get some got a good cornerback, definitely. So we'll see what the Buccaneers do with that 3rd-round pick, though, that they got from the Lions. Jawan Jennings has also thrown a touchdown in the Super Bowl as well. So he's going to be someone who 49ers fans, I think, will look to this season. Saints free agent linebacker Zach Bond plans to sign a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Eagles are getting more defense. They kind of struggled over there as well. Kind of interested to see if they will go in at center since Kelsey retired. I'm gonna kind of need to rest here in a little bit, so I'm hoping we get one more big signing, and then I think I'm gonna have to sign off here until later tonight, where we'll discuss this more with Chus. But it's been a good 3.5 hours for sure. I've enjoyed talking to everyone here. I need to go find that Geno Stone clip and clip that because that was a fun signing. I enjoyed that. I appreciate all the compliments too, guys. Of course, as soon as I sign off, something big's going to happen. That's how it always goes. One more big signing. Come on. Adam, Ian, give me something. Give me something here. Ari. Like I said, I'd like to know where Danielle Hunter goes. I'd like to. DJ Reader would be another good one to know where he's ending up. Hopefully back in Cincinnati. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to get you one more big signing here before I sign off, though. My throat's just getting a little sore, and I'm getting a little tired, but we're gonna be back. We're gonna keep covering this. We're doing stuff 24/7. I have people that call me if they see a big signing. Um, might see Chuss on here a little later tonight with me. So make sure you've got those notifications on. I've enjoyed talking with you. You have been great. Ooh, okay. Well, here's a rumor. This isn't anything confirmed, but the Ravens have been in contact with Derrick Henry today, per Browns by Brad. I don't. Let's see who that is. That's a username. Cleveland Browns. So I don't know why the Cleveland Browns coverage guy is reporting this, but he's reporting that the Titans are in, or Derrick Henry is in contact with the Ravens. That does make a lot of sense now that Gus Edwards is in LA. So scares me a bit, but Derrick Henry to the Ravens does make a ton of sense. Let's see what we can get here. I want to get one more signing. Give me one more big signing. Ooh, okay. So we have Cheeto's contract though. Mike Garafolo just tweeted that Titans cornerback Chidobe Awuzie, 3-year, $36 million with $23 million guaranteed. A few teams were after Awuzie, but he was interested in joining former Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan in Tennessee to help set the culture there. So, and that's exactly what Cheeto did for the Bengals too. He came in, helped set that defensive culture. He's going to do the same thing with the Titans. I'm happy for him. That's a great deal. Getting a ton guaranteed as well. Over like 3/4 of his contract is guaranteed. So that is a great signing for the Titans, in my opinion. I think he's a leader in that locker room, and happy for him. Now we got to sign a corner though, right? Yeah. Bengals quickly find us. That's a good point too. There's got to be something. Got to be something. Justin Fields is still out there. Justin Fields, Derrick Henry, lots of big names still out there. Good for Cheeto. Yeah, that's a great deal for Cheeto. Um, I think he's going to be great for the Titans. The only reason I was hesitant to re-sign him was because I didn't want to bet on him coming off that injury. He kind of slowed down last season. He's older, and the defense is just younger in general. So I'd like to bring in someone who's not coming off an injury, like Kendall Fuller, and if we're going to have to spend that kind of money, personally, but we will see what happens. I really thought Justin Fields to Atlanta was pretty much like a done deal. Yeah, actually, Cheeto ended up getting a raise because Willie Lutz on here, who's another great Bengals follow on Twitter, pointed out 2021 he signed a 3-year, $21 million deal. Now he's getting, so he was getting $7 million a year. Now he's getting, first of all, he's making more than his entire contract with the Bengals in guarantees, but he's also making $12 million a year. So he's almost doubled his contract there. That's a great signing for Cheeto. Great signing for the Titans. Excited for him. Well, it's starting to look like everyone breaks for dinner or something. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. We'll maybe hop on tonight, probably again tomorrow as well, because free agency has been absolutely wild. It has been great talking with you guys who are in the live chat. If you're not in the live chat, still feel free to comment. I have enjoyed doing this. Going to definitely be doing more live streams as we go, but I am getting hungry. It has been 3.5 hours and I have not eaten. So I enjoy. There we go. We got a guy. We got a signing there. We wanted to end with a signing. We got a signing. Giants have added Jermaine Oh, frick. That wasn't the signing I wanted, but the Giants signed offensive lineman Jermaine Illuminor to a 2-year, $14 million deal. I'm just going to tweet no. There. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see that. But no, I appreciated. That doesn't make sense at all. But I've appreciated you guys sticking along here for the 3.5 hours. It's been a great, fun time, and hope to do this again sometime. Hopefully tomorrow, maybe a little later tonight. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. And check us out on Instagram, NoButts_show, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere. LaJuan, good night. Thank you. We'll see what happens later tonight. I got to talk to Chus, but appreciate everyone. If you're not subbed yet, make sure to subscribe. Hit that bell button so you don't miss any notifications. And I will see you all next time. But until then, go do something nice for someone.